What's up, team? What's up, team? Hello, everyone. Let me take a look at who's here today. Okay. Nick, welcome to practice. 64 times. Oro, welcome to practice. Oh, you were both doing serves. That's very interesting how it works like that. Kami, welcome to practice. Doing footwork. One more, and then it's 60. That's crazy. Hello, Yasha, welcome to practice. Hello, Grand, welcome to practice. Wait a minute, Yasha's also doing serves? Why y'all doing serves today? Hello, Papa Lion Tamer, doing endurance. Thank you, doing something a little different. Welcome to practice. Eclipse, welcome to practice, doing volleys. Everyone's serving. What's up, team? How's everybody doing? Are you ready for some Yuri? Waiter, more Yuri, please. I'm really excited to play this one because it's not a like genre that I usually do, but oh no, you have to wait, which one were you doing? Which one were you doing? Lion Tamer? Oh my goodness, I'm like not wearing my endurance. Oh god, I think we all need to work on that one. Well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but endurance is the worst. If anyone disagrees, that's beautiful, that's amazing, and I'm very happy for you. Wait, I got sidetracked. Oh, this isn't usually the genre of visual novel that I play, so I'm excited. I am excited. It's mystery, it's thriller. It better have at least one kiss. Look, you're making the choices, so that's all up to you. Choose well, I guess. I don't know what else to say here. So yeah, you guys gotta lock in. I loaded up the game before just to make sure that everything was good, and it has like a cool little opening sequence. So I closed the game so we could watch the cool little opening sequence together. I like when they do that, when you like open up and it's like, boom, music, visuals, words. I like that. It's cool. So I'm excited. The game's called The Chrono Jotter. And from what I know, which isn't a lot, there's a murder, I guess. So we're gonna figure that out, I guess. I don't know. I just did 2 shrug emojis. I need some shoulder tracking so you guys can see every time I shrug. She chrono on my jotter till I Ibuki and Sakura, because the full name is The Chrono Jotter, Ibuki and Sakura. So, anywho, let's get to it. I'm excited. Okay, here we go. Hello, Era Peachboo. Welcome to practice. Welcome. You gotta track them shoulders. Okay, I'm gonna press play. Everyone get ready. Yeah. Violence and graphic scenes. Don't be scared. Everything will be okay. I promise. The mysterious school hidden in the dark. Oh god, the words go fast. Near chaotic memories, trapped behind the mist. The one whose slaughter can also tremble like a victim. The Chrono Jotter. Ibuki and Sakura. Searching for- oh, I cannot read that fast! Guys, this is loud. I don't even know if that's better. I can't. Ibuki, now what? Miss Asa- I cannot keep up with this. That's the blood. Oh, notice how the producer stays on with plenty of time to read. Interesting. Let's go! Let's go! Thank you, Orok, for the 10 bits. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I think the rest of it isn't overly loud because when I did the configuration, I turned the music all the way down, but I guess that first part doesn't count. I guess. But we'll see. Are you guys excited? Oh, Era wrote down the names for us? I wish my eyes could see. Ran, Ann, Saitama mentioned. One Punch, Aya, Miho, Hinata, and Makoto. Nice. But okay. Here we go. Stort. Remember, you guys get to make the decisions, so... This place was an enclosed space, without sound and without light. Ran Ibuki laid there, curled up on the floor. Her chest rose and fell gently in time with her breathing. She seemed to be asleep. Okay, I told you we would get choices. What are we doing? Are we waking her up or letting her wake on her own? Oh, the ad just started. Oh, that's convenient. Okay, well. Okay, we got one wake up. Wake me up. Wake me up inside. Can't wake up. Wake me up inside. Okay, we have 2 wake her up. The silence is so silent. Okay, wake up. We will wake up. In order to avoid burdening her mind any further, my consciousness crept slowly up to Ran's brain and gave her a light stimulus to wake her. Ran opened her eyes and awoke from her dream. The cold floor was a shock to her cheeks, and she jumped up from the floor the moment she awoke. But before she could even fully rise, she slammed the back of her head right into the ceiling. Ouch. Shaking in pain, she bent back down again. She rubbed her head as she looked around, but she couldn't see a thing. She tried to remember just what had happened the last time she'd been awake, but found only a strange mist over those memories. I need to remove the community stream raffle ticket. And within that mist, a single silhouette stood out, a girl in a school uniform, with an open notebook in her hands. Ren stared at that silhouette, now acutely aware of the dire situation she was in. It had been too long since she'd last eaten a page from the notebook, whatever that means. Her heartbeat, the pain from her solar plexus, and her perpetually sweat-stained face all reminded her that her symptoms were about to act up again. Ran tried her best to ignore her increasingly frenetic heartbeat, and with a practiced hand, pulled out a notebook from a hidden pocket on the inside of her jacket. She gently caressed the rough leather cover of the notebook, and her wildly beating heart settled down a little. Like a clownfish returning to its anemone. Anemone. That's my favorite Hololive song, actually. But anyway, anemone. She wanted to open the notebook, but given how dark it was, she decided not to for the moment. I need to find some light, she said. She held the notebook under her left armpit and raised her right hand, trying to get an idea of the room's size through touch, but it turned out she hardly needed to raise her arm at all to touch the ceiling of this space. Ran was left with no option but to press her right hand to the ceiling and slowly shuffle forward. She confirmed that this enclosed space was extremely narrow, as if it was a coffin that had been custom fit to her size. Ran decided to give up on escaping for now. She sat down on the ground and pulled her cell phone out from an inner pocket on her jacket. She turned on the phone's flashlight and checked what she was wearing. A winter-styled school uniform, it turned out. She tapped the screen a few times, trying to figure out her location, but the no-signal indicator on the upper left corner left her stumped. Ran wiped her sweat, illuminated the notebook, and flipped to the page where her personal details were recorded. Here we go. Oh, Hello, Princess Ewa. Hello. Hello, hello. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so here's the information that we have. I think these are the points, like the point systems that we will get through answers, I guess. So investigation 3, alacrity. What's alacrity? Alacrity? Hit the gritty? Hello, Fushigi, hello! Charisma 3. So she's currently suffering from damaged memory, but clearly understands that her goal is to find her girlfriend, Ann Sakura. Okay, so there we go. So Ran is the main character, and Ann Sakura is her girlfriend. So we already have lesbianism right off the bat. Bam, gay. Suffers from schizophrenia and hallucinates vividly when under severe pressure. Long-term use of olanzapine and therapy conducted by Ann Sakura have helped her recover. Girlfriend as the therapist? Received systematic training in logical analysis and deductive reasoning, but memory loss may lead to impaired abilities. Aww. Ollie Fave Gamer. Gaymer. I hope some music starts soon. It's so quiet. She licked her lips, staring at the clearly questionable listings there, and decided to try her best at performing a recollection to warm up her brain, if nothing else. We've recorded the term recall. Here she is. Here's Ran Ibuki, hidden behind the text. All right, let's begin recollection. I should choose carefully. Okay, when the notebook has new information, a notification will appear here. click on the notebook and flip to the corresponding page to check the new information. Okay. I'm an investigative journalist, but when I reached the scene of the crime to conduct interviews, I discovered that the victim was my love. What should I do? So we have, should we stay calm? Should we steal the police report? Or should we charge through the police cordon and kiss the corpse? These are good choices, honestly. Okay, I'll turn the BGM on for now. Okay, so everyone wants to kiss the corpse, I see. That's interesting. Okay. Guess we're doing that. I've illustrated a stunningly accurate portrait for a client, but they refused to pay me for my work as we contracted. What should I do? Oh, I think we're getting points with this. So, should we find out why they refused to pay and resolve the conflict? Steal a treasure greater than the value of the compensation owed from their home? Or convince their nemesis to join me to gain revenge upon them? Yeah, I think this beginning part's like a personality quiz. So that's cool. Sorry you guys didn't get to see her kiss the corpse. But so what are we doing? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, so we've got 1, which seems pretty level-headed. More 1s. I don't know how you guys went from kissing the corpse to resolving conflict normally, but okay. Yeah, 1 might give investigation. Also, I might eat every now and then when you guys are deciding what answers to choose. Just saying. I hope you guys like the ASMR. I stand before an old 2-floor apartment. I knocked on the door to room 102, but nobody answered me. I'm wondering if a friend of mine who might have gone missing is at home or not. What should I do? Should I find a spare key hidden near the door, pick the lock and break in, or lie about being a resident's little sister to get the key from the landlord? I am eating pizza. I made pizza for Era and I, but I had to swiftly move upstairs. If me chewing is the best part of the streams, I'm gonna jump off a building. Okay, we have 1 lie. Okay, 1 spare key and 1 lie. Okay, we're completely split. So, if anyone wants to break that split, that'd be super cool. Okay, there we go. We will find the spare key hidden near the door. I returned to the school building during the night because I left my homework in my desk in class. But just as I was about to unlock the door, I saw a stranger in the classroom. What should I do? 1, keep my distance. 2, run immediately. Or 3, tell her a wonderful joke. We already have 3, tell her a wonderful joke. Okay. Oh, y'all really want the joke, I see. Okay. After I got shit-faced with my friends last night, I woke up with a hangover the next day and found that there was a corpse in the midst of our snoring pile. What should I do? 1, notice that the corpse is wearing shoes and take them off. Place them at the entrance where they belong. 2, twist and turn a bit so that I'm not like touching the corpse and just go back to sleep. Or 3, take a selfie. Okay, we have 1 selfie so far. Okay. Uh-huh. Two selfies. 3 selfies. Okay. I'm so sorry, Yasha. We're taking a selfie, apparently. My love is about to commit suicide by jumping from the edge of the roof. What should I do? Should I, 1, notice that the cops are approaching and try to delay her through a conversation? Should I, 2, run and grab her? Or should I, 3, tell her that you want to be together with her as you head into the future? I'll allow it. You're not rescuing her no matter what, apparently. Okay, so we have 1, 2. Okay, we have 2 and 3 so far. We have 2 2s. Hello, Mela. Welcome. Thank you, Computer Racer, for the follow. Thank you. 2 2s and 2 3s. And another 3, which means that we are going to say, I want... Oh. And now a 1. I want to be together as we head into the future. All right, there we go. Investigation 5. Alacrity. Is that how you pronounce it? Alacrity. 3. And charisma 7. Okay. Here we go. I already read all this. About properties. Investigation represents the ability to discern contradictions. This includes contradictions in testimonials, contradictions in space-time, contradictions between knowledge and behavior, and contradictions between reality and physical law. Raising this ability allows Ran to discern tiny contradictions, accurately point them out, and pick up on minor clues to reconstruct the truth. That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, what's next? Charm represents the ability to discern emotions. This includes empathizing with the emotions of others, manipulating the feelings of others, attracting the love of others, and understanding the feeling of others. Raising this ability allows Ran to take to social interactions like a fish to water, and to manipulate others into willingly sacrificing anything for her. Good choice, guys. And alacrity represents the ability to coordinate mind and body. This includes agility and speed, manual dexterity, sharpened reaction times, skillful lockpicking, and escaping disaster. Raising this ability allows Ran to rapidly react to unexpected situations, unmake man-made obstacles, and achieve the avoidance of obstacles or the seizing of opportunities. Nice. Thank you for the water break, Era. Ran nodded. She felt that her personal information had been greatly improved now. But she was still a bit hesitant. Did she perhaps need to rethink her recollections? Oh, do you guys want to go back and try again? Or are you good with what you picked? Personally, I think you guys should just be stuck with whatever you pick. Personally. But if there was a resounding, like, yes, let's try again, then I would allow it. Conclude? Conclude. All I needed was 2. Ran decided not to recollect any further. She flipped the notebook to its rear cover. On the inside of the rear cover were a few miniature ring sleeves, holding 3 long strip-shaped bookmarks. Ren pulled out one of those bookmarks and placed it into the first page of the notebook. Now that all the necessary preparations had been made, she closed the notebook and placed it back into her jacket. Ran used her phone to illuminate the ceiling. The glowing screen immediately drove away all the darkness, and she soon found that there was a ring-shaped lock keeping the ceiling locked from the inside. She reached out and easily picked the ring lock, and was just about to push open the ceiling when she grew hesitant. Ran realized that she had no idea what was waiting for her out there. Moving recklessly might plunge her into an even more dangerous situation. And keeping the lock to a tiny basement such as this inside the basement itself seemed ridiculous at best. You didn't keep someone confined in a room by locking that room from the inside. True. Ran couldn't help but wonder what the mastermind which brought her to this place wanted from her. They're cute. Yuri. She pulled her hand back from the handle and turned off the flashlight on her cell phone, leaving only the dim light of the screen itself. Hugging her own legs, she leaned against the wall and stared at the phone's wallpaper. It was a selfie of Ran Ibuki and a different girl with the exact same school uniform. That girl was her long-lost love, Ann Sakura, who'd been missing for 4 years. That's a long time! Ran Ibuki closed her eyes, letting the memories she'd made with her love wash over her. Even though she couldn't recall many of her memories clearly anymore, she could still remember everything about the two of them as though it had just happened. Remembering the way their shared story had ultimately ended, she raised her head without hesitation. Like that. She moved herself back over to the ring lock from before, then she pushed the ceiling open slightly so that there was just a crack from which she could carefully peer out at the area around. Ice-cold air flowed into the underground chamber. Ran shivered a little and exhaled a cloud of steam. Outside, she saw a lightless hallway where wooden flooring met mottled walls. The hallway didn't seem all that wide. It had been a long time since Ran had seen such an old wooden building as this. Ran guessed that she was, perhaps, in some sort of shack in the middle of the woods at the moment. Her heartbeat remained wild despite the progress she'd made, and the veins at the temples of her face continued to pulse forcefully. Ugh. She had a skull-splitting headache and couldn't help but keep blinking. She needed to find a safe place and restabilize the rising pressure. If at all possible, she didn't want to have to eat any more paper. Ran took a deep breath, scrunched her eyes a few times, and pushed the entire ceiling open. Damn, she looked depressed as hell. Sprawled on the edge of the exit, she craned her neck and surveyed her surroundings. A wooden hallway appeared before Ran's eyes. Oh, finally. We got some music up in here. If you want to count this as music. A wooden hallway appeared before Ran's eyes. Towards the right of the hallway, there were clearly a row of standard-sized classrooms. With both hands, Ran pushed herself up from the floorboards, bringing herself back up to ground level. She looked towards both ends of the hallway. She didn't detect any traces of anyone skulking on either end. The lifeless darkness seemed to accentuate the chill of the hallway. Every breath Ran took made her lungs hurt, like they were being frozen over. Though the windows remained immobile thanks to the wooden grill holding them in place, Ran could still hear the freezing wind howling outside the room. Thank you for the lurk, Orok. Ran leaned against the window and stared outside blankly. She couldn't figure out how she was connected to this dilapidated school at all. She'd escaped a small mystery only to find herself in the midst of a larger one. The pressure mounting against Ran was starting to strain her limits, and not even the ice-cold air could stem her sweating. With a trembling hand, she tried to wipe her sweat away. Even though she was missing many of her memories, Ran Ibuki was somehow certain that she was no stranger to anomalous events like this. But she couldn't remember any of the specifics. All she could remember was that each of those events had been miserable experiences for her, and that each event had also been closely linked to her quest to find Ann Sakura somehow. Alright, I should come up with a way to get out of here, so I can keep looking for Miss Sakura. Sakura-san. Is probably what it said. Alright, Ran Ibuki decided to stop wasting time and marched forward. Does she look back at the underground chamber, which we do pass the check for, or do we spend temporary points, which I don't think we need to, so we'll just look at the underground chamber, right? Because we passed. Oh, not that. Not that. Not that. No, not that. Where's the thing with our points? Okay, never mind, I guess. Okay, look back at the underground chamber. Some choices will require that your attributes reach a certain threshold before you can pick them. Once your relevant attribute reaches the threshold, the check is automatically passed. While the relevant attribute is insufficient, the number of points you need to have in that attribute will be displayed instead. If you possess any usable temporary points, the option to use temporary points will appear as well. Temporary points can be spent to raise your attributes temporarily, for the duration of this choice only. After your choice has been made, the attributes you raised will return to normal. Click on People in the notebook. Click on Ranibuki. Here you can see that- oh, it was there, okay. Here you can see the number of temporary points you currently possess. Every 5 times you encounter a choice that requires an attribute check, you gain 1 temporary point. Okay, sounds good. Suddenly, Ran realized something. If this was just a school, why would it have such a bizarre, tiny underground chamber in the first place? Holding that question in her head, she turned back to look towards the basement she'd just escaped. Only to find an ordinary floor there, without the slightest hint of a hinge or crack. Terror instantly rose into her heart. She quickly rushed back to the basement's original location, but tripped over her own legs in her rush and slammed to the floor. Ran didn't care though. Going along with the fall, she pressed herself to the floor and tried to pry the floor open with her fingernails. But there were no cracks to be found, no leverage to be had. The wooden floor had become a seamless solid hole, as though it were the door to a vast vault, unbudging and immovable. Ran slammed her fists on the ground. The only response she received was a heavy thump, indicating that the ground underneath was definitely solid rather than hollow. The basement is gone. How? Unrelenting, Ran continued in vain to find a hidden seam in the wooden boards. All of her attempts were met with defeat. Ran stared with wide eyes. In the face of this impossibly ordinary floorboard, the last frayed strand of sanity that she maintained began to break down. She began to claw at her head repeatedly, trying to alleviate the stress she was under. The more mysteries and unresolved situations she had to face at once, the greater that stress would grow, she knew. The disappearance of her beloved had been bad enough for her condition, and now incomprehensible situations were showing up one after the other. At last, the disappearance of the basement had become the straw that broke the camel's back, and Ran's condition swallowed up her thoughts like an avalanche of snow. Miss Sakura, help me. My mouth began to twitch, trying to stop the foreign masses from spilling forth from within. But I had to open my mouth. I had to drive them away. I had to drive them away. Miss Sakura, save me. The pain in my head and the torment of my stomach spasming as I dry heaved brought me to my knees. My cell phone fell from its pocket and struck the ground, and its screen lit up. Miss Sakura. I twisted so that I faced the floor, clawing at my hair and bringing my legs as far in as I could. It was one of those memories, that blame, that loneliness which tore at me. They birthed phantasms, opened their mouths and spoke, forced me to depart from the paths of well-trodden common sense, and drowned my reason into the black magma beside me. Stress, fear, and the unknown energized them, empowered them, made them grow ever more rampant, until they were on the verge of taking away my everything. But, Miss Sakura... I can't say Miss Sakura, it sounds so weird. Sakura-san. With my back bent and fists clenched, the notebook fell out of my jacket and splayed open on the floor, revealing a blank page. And in the periphery of my vision I glimpsed it, that pale yellow page, like the softest of bedsheets, or the finest of meat delicacies, like ham. But more than either of those, to me, it was most like the tender smoothness of Sakura-san's skin. Without realizing, my fingers had already reached the page's edge, slowly but steadily, as though a magnetic force was pulling them closer and closer. The moment they touched the page, a familiar sense of safety and an overwhelming impulse of impending redemption washed over me. My fingers tore a small piece from the page, crumpled it into a small ball, and threw it into my mouth. And without even bothering to chew, I swallowed it directly into my throat. Thank you, Nick, for the water break. It's receding. After a long silence, Ranibuki finally stood back up, leaning on the wall for support. I should be able to hold on a little while longer now. Let's go. So where to next? In investigation mode, click on the arrows to continue forward and leave the current region. Regions can contain multiple clickable areas. Move the mouse to search for areas that can be investigated. Areas which have been fully investigated will be marked as investigated. Clicking on them again will allow you to reread their contents. Okay. So we can keep going, or we can check out the classroom, or check out the damaged stairs. 3 options. Keep going, classroom, stairs. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 1 stairs. 2 stairs. Okay, damaged stairs it is. Ran took a few steps forward and discovered a ruined stairwell. It looked as though something massive had crushed it and ground it up. Wood chips were scattered all over. She looked up, trying to see if there was something that had smashed the stairs lurking on the ceiling just above her. She didn't find anything, though. Ran approached the stairs slowly and bent down to inspect it in detail. The edges of the broken stairs were jagged and uneven. Clearly, only damage from an external force could leave marks such as these. Ran guessed that the purpose of the damage was to prevent people from reaching the 2nd floor. She was curious why, though, so she leaned on the edge of the stairs and held onto the guardrail, tiptoeing as close to the damaged part as she could without falling. She peered up towards the 2nd floor. The broken stairwell led to a small platform, whose left side connected to another set of stairs going up the opposite direction, leading to the 2nd floor. Ran craned her head, trying to see what exactly was on the 2nd floor, but the lighting was too dim and she couldn't make anything out. Shuffling her feet upwards, she found that it might be possible to reach the 2nd floor by clinging onto the handrail. And the school building looked quite large. There were surely many other places where the 2nd floor could be reached, so if the goal had been to seal off the 2nd floor completely, just destroying this one stairwell was far from sufficient. Okay. So we don't have enough alacrity, but we can use temporary points. So you get to choose. Do we use temporary points or do we just leave? Temporary points or leave? Okay, we got 1 leave, 2 leaves. We do have a limited amount. Yes, so right now we have 6 temporary points. I think it said every 5 decisions, we get 1 more, or no, every 5 skill checks, we get 1 point. Okay, leave it is. We could always probably come back to this if we get more points. Ran couldn't figure out the meaning behind the destroyed stairwell, but she didn't want to be foolhardy and advance into an area where danger might lurk, so she could only go back down. She sighed and clawed at her hair a bit as her stress built up again. She couldn't help but start to suspect that there was something else besides her in the schoolhouse. That something had destroyed the stairwell and put her in this place, and even now it was watching her from the shadows. But Ran soon discarded these stray thoughts, which only served to feed the dread within her heart. She was fully aware that such things were just the instinctive reactions that humans had within the darkness. Just like how, after waking up from a nightmare, one might imagine that the terrible entities from their dreams had descended into the darkness which surrounded them too. Merely the lingering ripples of a pebble cast by fear into the lake of reason. Okay. Classroom or keep going? Classroom. 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 Ran looked towards the classroom to her side. The moon was at the perfect angle to illuminate the room, with soft azure light, allowing Ran to notice that the storage drawers in the desks held textbooks in them. This raised Ran's interest. Observing the classroom from behind a window, she wondered if there were any eclipse worms in the room. What's an eclipse worm? Oh. Okay. Ever since that time she'd been cocooned by the eclipse worms, Ran had taken particular care to avoid those things whenever she could. She had no desire to repeat the week she'd spent as their captive. What? Once Rand carefully confirmed that there were no mysterious writhing shapes in the darkness, she decided to investigate the classroom. Can I see, please? Eclipse silkworm. Creatures which devour light. All light which shines upon these creatures is consumed, preventing direct observation. Infrared observation reveals arthropod-like animals similar to silkworms in morphology. After reaching maturity, they form cocoons which continuously leak black liquid. In actuality, this black fluid is a substance which also consumes light. Ranabuki was once enveloped by a cocoon for 7 days. During this period of time, the Eclipse silkworm used its mandibles to continuously feed her an unknown nutrient? What? After 7 days, the cocoon spontaneously disappeared. Immediately afterwards, the area around Ren suffered a total eclipse of the sun lasting 24 hours. As for Ren herself, aside from losing her sight for 7 days, no other irregularities were found in her physical conditions. Bro, what? Okay. Okay. What she most wanted to know right now was whether she was alone in this place or not. Ran approached the door to the classroom, reached out, and easily pulled it open. It's not locked? Ran entered the classroom and found herself enveloped in the fragrance of the room's wooden timbers. She inhaled deeply, enjoying the smell before she cast her gaze around and began to investigate. Okay. We can check out the window and the blackboard. Oh, and textbooks inside the desk. Okay. 1 blackboard, 2 window, 3 textbooks. Here we go. 1 window, 2 windows. Oh, no problem. Love to add immersion. Okay, window. Ran took a step closer to the window. Beyond it was nothing but darkness. She could only barely see the waving silhouette of a tree under the moonlight. It's too dark. I can't see outside clearly. Let's check somewhere else. Blackboard or textbooks? Okay, blackboard. 1 blackboard. I guess in theory for these, you have to check out everything anyway. But there might come a time where viewing things in certain order means something. Okay, 1 blackboard, 1 textbook. 2 blackboard. Blackboard. Ran approached the blank blackboard and poked the chalk trough with a finger. Her finger was immediately covered in a thick layer of chalk dust. So someone's wiped the blackboard here recently then. Okay, let's find the class schedule. The fine sand-like texture of the chalk dust conjured an auditory synesthesia. I don't know what that is, I'm so sorry. In Ran. She turned her head to the window and listened to the sounds of the waves. She and Anne Sakura had lived by the sea for too long. Ren rubbed her fingers, letting the chalk dust fall back to the blackboard tray and cutting off the sound of the waves. Okay, the all caps, yeah, Ollie, good pronunciation, very much feels like a 1st grade teacher and I'm reading the word like rainbow and I'm like, rainbow. And then you're like, yeah, good job, Ollie, good job. That's what that felt like. Thank you. Then she noticed a class schedule taped to the blackboard and bent down to investigate it in detail. Language, mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Only 4 subjects. And they only have classes in the morning. The afternoon time slots all just say free time. The coursework looks easy, but what does free time mean exactly? Club activities? Whatever. No point to think about it right now. Let's keep investigating. And textbook. Ran approached the nearest desk and bent down to see that there were several textbooks in Chinese stacked in the desk's drawer. Is that not a condition where one of your senses are triggered by another sense? Like you could see colors when you hear music? Yeah, that's what it was, right? Like she saw the chalk or whatever and then heard the ocean. So I guess that's what it is. Yeah. Chinese. Oh, Chinese. With how Japanese this place looked, I'd figured... Rand took out one of the literature textbooks with some interest. After flipping through a few pages, though, the contents of the book left her with a slight sense of incongruity. It looks like a second-year high school textbook. It's nice to see some textbooks in my native language, but why are these textbooks primarily focused on the works of Japanese authors? Is Ran a racist? We'll have to see. Ran took a look at the spine of the book. In the space where the publisher's name was supposed to go was the name of a Japanese publisher, the same one who'd published the textbooks Ran had used in high school herself, in fact. But besides the text being changed from Japanese to Chinese, the contents themselves were quite different as well. Strange, something's not right. Ran flipped through the books, noticing that many of the books had been annotated by the students themselves, and in Chinese as well. Why would they deliberately choose to use translated text like this? Just what are the students here even... Ren flipped back to the first page, wanting to know the name of the owner of the textbook, but she found that the space on the first page where the owner was supposed to have written down their name had been left blank. She put the book back in the drawer and circled the classroom a few times, confirming that there were only textbooks in 7 of the desk drawers. They took notes, but they didn't write their names down. This implies that... Nope. I've got no idea what it implies, actually. At least I know that there's probably 7 students in this classroom. Okay. Let's see what else there is to investigate. And that's everything, I think. Okay. Now all that's left is to keep going. Thank you for the water break era. Leaning against the window on the left side of the hallway, Ran looked outwards to assess the structure of the schoolhouse. She could see that the hallway terminated at a large gate ahead. The gate faced her directly, in fact. She considered the shape of the schoolhouse and decided that, so long as the architect had any common sense whatsoever, this hallway would definitely turn left eventually so that it could connect to the front gate. Ran sniffed a bit, letting the cold air of the hallway pour into her lungs once again. This time, it didn't hurt. She merely shivered a little instead, her nerves sharpened by the chill. She now felt like she was in excellent condition. Her heartbeat had stabilized, and her mind was agile. Eating a page always brought Ran into an elevated state like this, like a post-workout athlete who'd just drunk a refreshingly cold beverage. I gotta get on that paper eating grind, I guess. Now that both body and mind were in top condition again, it was time to deal with the situation at hand. She looked all around and noticed that— oh my god, I'm sorry. Ooh, I was so good at muting the other ones, but that one came out of nowhere. She looked all around and noticed that the design of the schoolhouse seemed rather antiquated. Diagonal wood struts supported the ceiling, and the windows were fixed in place by wooden latch bars which prevented them from being opened. The walls were yellowed with age and coated with cracks. Clearly this schoolhouse had been built a long time ago. As Ran walked, she gently ran her hand along the wall on the side of the classroom, feeling the texture of the surface. The rough sensation from her fingertips reminded her of the first time she'd touched the notebook. She'd given great attention to the slightly grainy texture of the page. For some reason, doing so had given her heartbeat's pace a healthy increase, as though she'd been caressing her lover's supple waist. Ran shook her head and redirected her attention to the present. Not far down, she saw that the hallway took a left turn. Scattered moonlight shone down from the left there. It felt unrealistic to her for a moment, like it was an artificially glowing indicator right out of a video game, placed to mark the objective. But she picked up the pace and ran towards the bend in the hallway anyways. Ran's down bad? God forbid a girl fantasize about touching the waist of her dead lover. God forbid. When Ran finally arrived at the gate to the school building, she found 5 racks of shoeboxes, typical for a school, most of them thoroughly empty. Remembering that the textbooks she'd looked through in the classrooms hadn't had any names written on them, Ran decided to investigate the shoe cabinets here as well. She was confident that the shoe cabinets here would have nameplates. The students would have a hard time finding their own shoes otherwise. It'd give her the opportunity to determine just how many students this school had. Ren wove between the shoe cabinets and found that only the 3rd row of one of the cabinets held any shoes, exactly 7 pairs. Though the plaques on the shoe cabinets didn't have any real names on them, just numbers, Arabic numerals, from 1 to 7. Ren wondered if she should stay here longer to investigate these shoes, or if she should just leave through the main gate as soon as she could. She quickly came to a conclusion. Her top priority was getting out of here, not solving the mystery of the school or whatever. Ran approached the main entrance and pressed down on the door handle. The door opened compliantly. No lock existed to prevent Ran from advancing. Main entrance not locked either. Ran pushed the front gate open. The cold wind blowing from outside the room made it hard for her to open her eyes. It was already November. My birthday month! And Ran, who was only wearing a winter uniform, was so cold she started hugging herself to stay warm. That's me being cold. She advanced slowly, hugging her own shoulders. The sound of the wind mixed with the rustling of the leaves seemed to accentuate the courtyard's darkness. Even though she'd activated the flashlight mode on her phone, she still couldn't see the path clearly. Looking around, Ren was barely able to make out the silhouettes of the buildings. Accompanied by the howling wind and swaying groves, she felt like the buildings themselves were beginning to writhe as well. Ren pressed on. The sound of the wind grew louder and louder until she could no longer hear her own footsteps. The cold, the darkness, and the slowly accumulating stress had all made her quite frustrated. But she had made it outside, and now all she needed to do to escape was find the school gates. At least I've gotten outside. Where should I go from here? Okay. School gate. Gymnasium. Schoolhouse. Or just keep going. Okay, we have 1 gym. 2 gym. Who's Jim? Am I right? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Anyway, okay. Anyone else have any place they want to go to? If not, we're going to the gym. Gym it is! Thank you, Yasha, for laughing. Ren approached the massive arc-shaped silhouette in the darkness, guessing that it was probably the gymnasium. If she got lucky, perhaps she'd be able to find the room where they stored the gym equipment and spend the night on a soft workout mat. Thinking of this, Ren shielded her eyes from the howling cold wind with a hand and jogged over to the main entrance of the gymnasium. These doors weren't locked either. Ran pressed her hands to the doors and forcefully pushed them open. The resultant creaks echoed in the empty gymnasium. Ran felt like the sounds were cutting into her very eardrums. Ran walked into the gym. It was terribly dark. She groped her way around the walls but couldn't find a light switch. As Ran raised her head and looked towards the distant, unreachable ceiling, a wordless fear grew in her heart. That, plus the foreboding atmosphere of the unoccupied gymnasium and the chill that seemed to seep into her body here, left Ran shivering. She decided that, in comparison, even the cold wind outside possessed more vitality. And so, she retraced her steps, closed the gym door, and returned to the courtyard, rubbing her shoulders and looking for somewhere better to go. She said, "Fuck the gym. Schoolhouse? Or school gate?" Okay, we got one schoolhouse. Schoolhouse rock. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Okay, 2 house, I'll take it. I just came from there, so let's not go back there just yet. Let's wait until I really can't find anywhere else to go before returning to the school building. That's that. Okay, school gate. Ran saw ahead of her an open clearing with good visibility, unobstructed by any buildings. She stared at it and realized that she could see a short wall. Clearly the school gates were over there. The frustration in Ran's heart cleared instantly. Picking up her pace, she ran toward the gates. But, upon reaching the gates, Ran was forced to stop. Beneath her feet, an old dirt road stretched out horizontally, while ahead laid an endless expanse of shrubbery, trees, and muddy wetlands. Ran didn't dare venture into a dark swamp like that. By the light of her phone, she saw that the road under her feet led into silent darkness in both directions. She pulled at her hair for a few moments before turning back to the school. Let's wait for morning before I head out. Thank you for the lurk, Grand. Time to go to the campus. A campus this large has to have a dormitory, right? Oh. A campus this large has to have a dormitory, right? Let's try to get in, find an empty room, and lay low for the night. Worst comes to worst, I could just head back to the school building and rip down some curtains to use as blankets. Ran looked all around, remembering that she'd seen a lone house somewhere in the darkness not long ago. Usually an isolated building far away from the main campus like that would either be a lab building or a dormitory. Ran was hoping it was the latter. With high expectations, she advanced towards it. Suddenly, though, a flickering light appeared from a completely different direction. Ran halted her steps and stared at the slowly brightening light. That light's coming from a house, isn't it? Someone's turned their lights on. Is it a student? The light's appearance was so timely that Ranabuki couldn't help but wonder whether or not the light was actually the shining lure of some kind of anglerfish. But Ran wanted to know if there was anybody else here. Even if it risked a conflict, she felt an encounter with another person would at least help shine some light on her situation. As long as she was sufficiently careful, she'd be fine. After all, this wasn't even close to the most dangerous situation she'd ever been in, and now was no time for cowardice. Ran touched her notebook again, giving herself a quiet word of encouragement, and then ran towards the light. Everyone hit the Naruto run! That's how you run. The place that Ren had arrived at in her pursuit of the light had indeed met her expectations. It definitely looked like the kind of place where accommodation could be found. Most incredibly of all, it was a Western-styled building. So we've got Chinese textbooks, Western-styled building, Japanese classroom. What's next? It was an unwise decision to simply barge into the building without any intel. But the frigid winds didn't leave Ran hesitant for too long. She quietly pushed open the door and headed directly into the dormitory building without taking off her shoes. You're right, Yasha. Also Arabic numbers. Bro, what is going on here? Ran could feel her cheeks and ears frantically twitching in nervousness. Her eyes darted unnaturally all over, for fear of missing the slightest movement. Carefully, she shuffled her feet until she came to a fork in the hallway. Towards the left were stairs that led to a second floor, and on the right was... As soon as Ran looked to the right, she froze immediately, and then quickly ducked behind the corner wall. She'd heard the sounds of footsteps and pouring water from the right side. Poking her head out slightly, she looked towards it. On the right was an open kitchen. Inside it, a female student stood, facing away from Ran. She was quite tall, and she held a bottle of fruit tea in her hands, which she was pouring into a cup. Ran observed the female student carefully. Looks like she's not armed. Hard to tell how fit she is due to the uniform, but most likely just an ordinary civilian. Hair seems a bit wet, probably just finished showering. She seems to be close to my age. Could consider initiating contact. But from her perspective, what would she make of me? A thief? A home invader? Or an escaped convict? Ran turned around and leaned against the wall. Whether or not the students were the ones who locked me in the basement, either way, I'm definitely not supposed to be here right now. Even if I'm just a victim, the students' natural reaction to a stranger showing up in their dormitory would be alarm and hostility. Not to mention the very real possibility that it was the students who locked me up in the first place. I should reconsider and find a controlled approach that maximizes my chances of... Oi! The female student suddenly appeared at the intersection, startling Ran into letting out a scared gasp as their eyes met. As Ran had predicted, she didn't look pleased at all. Looking at her ear piercings and the fangs that occasionally peeked out from her mouth as she spoke, for some reason, Ran found herself reminded of the feral cats that lived under her apartment. She was taller than Ran, though, and she cast a shadow on Ran's face just by standing over her. It made Ran feel diminished and stressed. A few stray memories of Ran's miserable experiences at school flashed through her mind, unbidden. She quickly blinked them away and focused on the reality before her. Who are you? What are you doing here? Looks like she doesn't know about my situation. Let's see where a conversation gets me. Okay! We have 3 choices. We can notice the serpentine bracelet, which is investigation 4, and we do pass. We can calm her down, charisma 6, which we pass. Or we could just introduce ourselves. Hey yo, it's me, Ran Ibuki. Okay, we've got 1 calm her down. Oh, my pizza's cold now. That's kind of yucky. 2, calm her down. Calm it is. Don't get mad, okay? I've just gotten lost. It was really cold outside, so I was looking for somewhere to take shelter, and I saw that someone had turned the lights on here, so... Ran raised a hand towards the female student, hoping that a handshake would help reduce the awkwardness between them. The female student relaxed her shoulders slightly, and after considering Ran for a moment, shook her hand. Alright then, why don't you tell me your name first? Ran nodded in satisfaction, and let go of her hand. My name is Ran Ibuki. First name Ran, last name Ibuki. But we're all speaking Chinese here, so you can also call me... I'm so bad at pronouncing Chinese names. Lin Xinlan. The hell are you talking about? The female student scrunched up her brow and stared at Ran. How could I possibly be speaking Chinese? You're speaking Japanese right now, aren't you? There was no question that the sounds Ran perceived from both her and the female student's mouths were both the most utterly ordinary Chinese. What's going on? I'm clearly speaking Chinese, and she's also... Let's try testing this. This is actual Japanese, isn't it? As soon as Ran spoke those words, she clasped her hands to her mouth. She'd spoken those words with Japanese grammar and pronunciation, and she was certain that she'd felt her mouth form the correct shapes for such. But what she heard was completely unremarkable Chinese coming out of her mouth. It was like there was a parasite living in her mouth, controlling her mouth for her. The orders given by her brain and the movements of her muscles were in alignment, and yet the results had turned out completely differently from her expectations. She'd never experienced such an incongruity before, and it left her terrified. Wait a second. Up to now, I've only seen written text that has only been in Chinese or Arabic numerals, and that book, which was obviously a Japanese textbook but translated into Chinese for some bizarre reason. Ran held a hand to her forehead, her expression anxious. Hey, I can call you Ibuki, right? Why'd you get quiet all of a sudden? I really want to give her like a Brooklyn accent. Nothing, just call me Ibuki. You? The girl seemed rather confused about Ran's rapid shifts in demeanor, but soon loosened her brows and spoke. My name's Sayuruno. I'm a student here. Okay, now we got Sai. Oh, she drew her. After meeting a new character, relevant information about that character will be recorded in the notebook. Click Notebook. Click on People. Click on Yoruno Sai. Click on Sketch. Ran will record her opinions on the person in this area. Very handsome face. The arm muscle lines are very beautiful. Has canine teeth. Coiled snake bracelet. Okay. Chuni. Sai had apparently fully relaxed her guard and returned to the rhythm of her ordinary life, which surprised Ran quite a bit. Her reaction to the sudden appearance of a stranger in her dormitory had been quite underwhelming. Suddenly, Ran started to worry about whether Sai had already grown used to this sort of thing. Had there been many past cases where someone had intruded into the school on accident and run into Sai at the dorms, and was then never seen again? Well, if that was the trope at hand, then the next plot beat would probably involve Ran running into a bunch of other people in the same situation, until finally, when dawn broke, only Ran and the final girl were able to escape. She couldn't help but laugh at the third-rate horror movie plot that had appeared in her mind. Well, it's pretty late. You should get to bed. I'll introduce you to everyone else tomorrow morning. You can sleep in my room tonight. Your room? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? Well, everyone else already has a roommate. My room's the last one left with a vacancy, that's why. Ran nodded, even though that wasn't really what Ran was asking. I see, you're fine with that though? Ran took a quick look over the layout of the area while she talked. There was a dining table in the open kitchen. On the other side of the dining table, a set of stairs connected the first floor with the second. Under those stairs, a passageway led deeper into the dormitory. Ren took the opportunity to memorize the layout of the area. It was clearly a spacious building. If each room had multiple people in it, and Sayuruno's room was the only one with an empty bed, that implied that the number of students here might be greater than 7. I'm a stranger to you, aren't I? I thought you'd be more cautious about me. And me? Should I trust a stranger like her? Thank you for the water break, Yasha. In response, Sai gulped down the last of her fruit tea before stepping into the kitchen and saying, You're the same age as me, and you don't seem like a bad sort. She turned on the faucet and began to wash her newly emptied cup. The water made a pleasant splashing sound as it passed over the sides of the cup and flowed into the sink. Before long, Sai turned the faucet off and started wiping her hands. Unless you're telling me you really are here to cause trouble. Of course not, I'm a decent person. The way that Ren spoke with resolve made Sai laugh. Well, there you go then. Come with me. Don't forget to take your shoes off. Do we head upstairs, or do we hit her with the, hey, where's the bus? I'm getting out of here. I don't know why an ad starts every time it's time to pick a decision. Okay, we've got one head upstairs. I'm nodding my head. Okay, upstairs. Ren returned to the entrance of the building and took the opportunity to inspect every single inch of the shoe cabinet when she went to drop off her shoes. Sai, meanwhile, simply climbed halfway up the stairs, took a leaning position against the guardrail, and calmly waited for Ren to finish doing her thing. Ren counted the number of shoes. There were 7 pairs of shoes. Most of them were various kinds of student-appropriate shoes, but a pair of short boots stood alone at the very bottom of the cabinet. Oi, are you still not done? Sai's yell startled Ren a little, and she reflexively scrunched up her shoulders as she answered Sai. Sorry, I'll be right there. Ren ultimately closed the cabinet without putting her own shoes in. Rather, she left them at the main entrance, toes pointing outwards, and followed Sai upstairs to the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor hallway wasn't long. On the left was a balcony from which you could see the bottom floor. On the right, you could quickly walk to the end of the hall. At the end were 4 doors, none of which were marked by nameplates. Exactly the right amount of rooms for 7 people. If Yuruna was telling the truth about having a room to herself. As far as the layout of the 1st and 2nd floors went, the building felt less like a student dormitory and more like an ordinary civilian residence. Sai pulled open the outermost door and gestured for Ren to head in first. Ren nodded, entered, and immediately began inspecting everything without so much as asking permission, while Sai got to work spreading a bedsheet out onto the lower bunk. The amenities in the dorm room were rather simple. Besides the rather simplistic posters on the wall, there was only standardized furniture, and little in the way of additional decoration. Ren wondered if this was because of the school's rules, or if it was just due to Sai's own personality. After that, she took a few more laps around the room before settling by the windows. The endless darkness outside the windows melded seamlessly into the night sky, as though a vast curtain veiled the whole dormitory. Alright, that's enough rummaging around for you. Time to get in that lower bunk and sleep. Oh, okay. Thanks. After that, Sai didn't say much. She climbed to the top bunk and used a switch near the head of the bed to turn off the lights. Seeing the situation, Ren took her phone out and used it to light the path to her bed. She took off her socks and outerwear and laid down in the bed. Its warmth warded away the cold, letting her finally relax fully. The situation had developed quite well, much better than Ren had been imagining. She quietly looked forward to being able to leave this place tomorrow with the help of the other students, and to set off once again on her journey to find Anne Sakura. Ren pulled up her blankets and tucked in. The winter blankets are so cozy, and I don't know why, but talking to Yuruna was relaxing for some reason. Thanks to her, my situation's improved a lot. I should really thank her again. Yuruna, Shut it. Sleep. Okay. Ren opened her eyes, tossing and turning on the bed. The unfamiliar environment and ceaseless mysteries continued to torment her mind. Even though the pain which emanated from both her brows and her brain reminded Ren that she'd reached truly dangerous levels of fatigue, she still couldn't get to sleep. Ren rolled over and turned her phone on, hoping to find some comfort in her photos of Anne Sakura. Now I feel even worse. Well, Ren closed her eyes, and against her will, the memories of the time she'd spent together with Anne Sakura began forcibly replaying themselves before her eyes. The beautiful past made the painful present even more unbearable. Ren clenched her brows tightly, but it did nothing to stop this venom, sweet like honey, from spreading all over her. Hugging her shoulders, she trembled. Sakura-san. Sakura-san. Where are you? Fatigue and drowsiness finally overcame nostalgic memory, and Ren gradually fell asleep, with dream-born tears flowing from her eyes. She's surely dreaming about Anne Sakura. You always hide here alone. What happened? Yes, Sakura-san. I've always been alone until you found me. Let me wipe your tears. Tell me what happened. I'm sorry, Sakura-san, I can only cry. I can't even speak clearly. I'm scared of pain, scared of being bullied. Don't worry, from now on, I'll be with you. I know, Sakura-san, but I still want to be the most important person to you. I'm glad you could say that. Really happy. I am too, Sakura. Even if the venom that cannot be avoided has spread all over my body, we will never be separated. Wait, your hands are clumsy. You hurt me. Sakura's expression is different from usual. It must be something that only I can see. Now you and I have a special relationship, right? Ren, from now on, we will never be apart. Of course, Sakura. Sakura. Sakura, where are you? Oh, she's talking so fast. Okay. To come back soon. And where are you? Sakura. Sakura, where are you? Sakura, where are you? Come out quickly. Sakura, where are you? Come out quickly. I'm here. And don't leave me. I want to see you. Oi, time to get up. After being called awake, Ran opened her eyes forcefully. Turning her head in a stupor, she stared at Sayarno, who'd already put her uniform on. Then she looked at the overhead bedboard. Only now were her memories of the previous night starting to reawaken. Ran sat up on the bed, her back bent and her mind still slightly muddled, trying to retain the voice of her love from the dream just a little longer. But soon it all dissipated, and all that was left before Ran's eyes were a stranger in a stranger's room. She looked towards her own jacket, remembering the corner she'd torn from the notebook yesterday. Then she shook her head. It wasn't time yet. It's not time yet. After all, after Anne had disappeared, she'd already been forced to eat 18 whole pages out of the notebook to stifle the increasingly serious symptoms of her condition. What is this condition? Are you okay? Ran shook her head and stared with side eyes at the changes to Sai's head that she couldn't ignore. You looking at something? Why? I still don't know why she's eating paper. I have no idea. Nothing. I just, cool hairstyle. Somehow I get the impression you're not exactly complimenting me. Whatever, just get up already. Ran took a long, lazy stretch. She'd noticed that Sai was holding a small baggie of something. She shook it a few times, and Ran's eyes tracked it as it swung back and forth like a pendulum. You can stop staring now. That's the bag for my swimsuit. I'm planning on getting a swim in before the morning meetup. Swimming? There's a swimming pool here? No shit. What, you think I'm going to backstroke across the courtyard? Now hurry and get up and come to washstand with me. The person that's on duty for today should already have gotten up, so I'll have her keep an eye on you in my place from now on. Why are they like... what? Sure. I noticed it last night when I entered Yorino's room as well. Despite how well furnished this place is, it doesn't have private bathrooms. I guess that means even the sinks where you brush your teeth are communal. Ran rolled out of bed, put her socks on, picked up her jacket, and headed out of the room with Sai. Yawning, she pulled her jacket on as she walked. After she was done adjusting its collar, she got her phone out. The screen showed that it was currently 6 exactly, quite early. She followed Sai, descending to the first floor and turning into a hallway next to the stairs. Soon, Ran could hear the sounds of flowing water not too far away. Oh, Indo, you're on duty today, right? The person Sai had addressed as Indo turned, with her hands crossed before her, and made a light bow to Sai. Good morning, Yorino-san. So we finally, why did we get a san here? Okay. Yeah, perfect timing then. I'm handing it over to you. Ibuki, come over here. Okay, boss. Ran quickly followed Sai and stepped to her side, preparing to greet Indo. But the moment she saw Indo, she paused. And on the other end, the one who'd been called Indo reacted much more noticeably. She stared back and forth between Sai and Ran, apparently struck speechless, only capable of making sounds of surprise. What's with you?
What? Why is there a stranger? Yuruno-san, who is she?
Calm down, Indo. Deep breath. Indo nodded forcefully, and then started taking deep breaths as Sai had suggested. Indo apparently took the idea of deep breaths extremely seriously, practically flinging her head all the way behind her back with every breath. Like that. Indo, huh? Like the character for Puppy. It does suit her. She's pretty adorable. Why is she wearing a hakama, though? And hakamas aren't usually supposed to have flowery decorations like that, are they? Looking closely, the overall design looks a bit similar to Yuruno's sailor-style uniform. It does.
Okay, I'm calm now. Calm.
Yuruno smiled and gave the hair bun on the back of Indo's head a light tousling up. Great, then I'm leaving the rest to you. Why don't you show Ibuki to the classroom, eh? Oh, yeah, and by the way, last night after I came back from swimming, I noticed that the showers weren't getting any water. Make sure you let Asakura know about that when you get to class so that she can come fix it in the afternoon. So, last night, when Yuruno's hair was wet, that was because she'd just gotten back from showering at the swimming pool. Though, wouldn't that hairstyle cause trouble for her while she was swimming? How curious.
Okay, Yuruno-san, I'll remember to pass it on.
Sai nodded before turning to Ran and speaking. Good, so Ibuki, just stick with Indo and you'll be fine. Don't bully her or I'll beat you up. Where did you get that idea of me from? Sai laughed and then headed to the washstand to start brushing her teeth.
Good morning, you're Ibuki-san, correct?
That's right, my name is Ran Ibuki. Indo is speaking Chinese too, but if I ask her about it, I'm sure she'll have the same reaction that Yuruno did last night. And now there's the question of why Indo's wearing a hakama too. Maybe she's some kind of exception to the school rules?
I'm Tama Indo. It's nice to meet you, Ibuki-san.
After Yuruno told Indo to calm down, it was like a switch had been flipped. Her attitude has done a 180. Just like when Yuruno first met me last night.
Here's some spare toothbrushes and cups. You can use these, Ibuki-san.
As Tama spoke, she raised herself onto her toe tips and opened the cabinet behind the washroom mirror. After a moment's hesitation, she took out a fresh toothbrush, still sealed in its packaging, and presented it to Ran with both hands. Then she turned around again and dug up a cup, which she washed several times under the faucet. Then, with her right hand holding the handle and her left hand supporting the base of the cup, she delivered it to Ran. Thank you for the water break, Nick. So formal. By now, Sai had finished cleaning up. She gave Ran a pat on the shoulder and waved farewell to Tama before she departed for the dormitory steps. The direction she was heading in was the opposite of that of the main entrance. Ran rinsed her mouth as she watched Sai depart, then she spat out the foam, cleaned off the cup, and put it back on the washstand. But Tama didn't seem satisfied. She took Ibuki's cup and gave it a second washing before replacing it back in the mirror. Well, now I just feel a bit embarrassed.
Now, if you'll allow me to escort you to your classroom, Ibuki-sama. Ibuki-san?
What did she just call me? With a light smile on her face, Tama bowed slightly before placing her hands in front of herself and quickly stepping in front of Ran. Ran followed her to the entrance. Tama bent down and opened the bottommost shelf of the shoe cabinet. She took out a pair of short boots and sat down to methodically lace them on. Ran's shoes had long since molded themselves to her feet, so it didn't take more than a few seconds for her to slip them on. She waited next to the door for Tama to finish. Tama meticulously tied her shoelaces in exactly the proper configuration and made a few slight turns after she stood up, as if to confirm that she'd put the shoes on properly. After that was done, she tapped the ground with her shoe tips and made a slight bow towards the interior of the dormitory before she finally spoke to Ran.
Thank you for your patience, Ibuki-san. Let us depart.
Ran nodded in agreement, and the two left the dormitory together, heading towards the schoolhouse that Ran had just escaped the previous night. She's cute. How do we feel about her? Is she cute? Is she a loser? I'm gonna drink a little more water. Yeah, she's cute. During the day, the courtyard looked quite plain and unassuming, much different from how ominous it had seemed last night. This school is so big for 7 people. She is peculiar. She is a little weirdo. Weirdo alert. Okay, well, Era Peachboo likes her, so. This school is so big, and for what? There's 7 students. Okay, we have not checked our notes in a little bit, so I want to check some of the notes. Uniform styled after sailor outfit with skirts. First student encountered by Ran at the school. Speaks bluntly, but holds no hostility towards Ran. She loves swimming and visits the swimming pool whenever she gets the chance. While submerged, she feels that she can almost hear her younger sister's voice. Now, how did we know that? Apparently, there's only 7 students. There were 7 textbooks, 7 pairs of shoes, and then there were 4 doors. Each with, we assume, 2 beds. And Sai's room only had 1 bed occupied. So, yes, 7. Uniform styled after a lantern hakama. Impeccably polite to everyone with very controlled movements. Tries to conceal her inferiority complex and tries to take the blame for everything around herself in order to avoid becoming an annoyance. I just don't understand how she knows this. How do we know this? Okay, I think that's everything. Ran walked quite slowly, following behind Tama, observing the distant mountain ranges, the coarse soil under her feet, and the old wooden buildings around her. Oh, yeah, maybe, because we passed that skill check. Because we're so skilled. Suddenly, a thread of nostalgia rose in her, and she found herself thinking of the time she and Anne visited Anne's grandmother in the countryside. Anne Sakura's grandmother had a strange disposition and kept calling Ran a little raccoon for some reason. She was exceedingly gentle and kind with her granddaughter, though. She would often wheel a little hand cart by to bring them chilled watermelon, while Ran and Anne were fishing next to the river, though she always wound up eating Ran's portion herself somehow. I didn't really like being called a little raccoon, but Sakura said that raccoons were adorable, so I had no choice but to let her grandmother keep calling me that. Wait, what am I even doing? When Ran had followed Tama all the way to the vicinity of the schoolhouse, she halted and called out to Tama. Hold on, Indo. Almost let myself get caught up in the atmosphere here. I'm not here to attend school. Indo, I only stumbled into the school because I got lost. But I'd like to get out of here before one of your teachers catches me here. Could you tell me which way it is to the station from the gates? After hearing Ran out, Tama shook her head and opened her mouth to speak. I'm sorry, Ibuki-san. There are only us 7 students here and no teachers. Huh? Tama smiled as if she'd just thought of something pleasant. Well, 8 now, including you, Ibuki-san. Ran furrowed her brows, not understanding what Tama meant. But she decided not to scrutinize Tama's words, so she simply clawed a bit at her hair and gave up thinking about it. She'd already made up her mind last night in the school building that she didn't need to explain the mysteries of this school. As long as she can get out of here, it'd be enough.
Okay, so there's no teachers in this school then. So, could you tell me where I should go if I want to leave? Ibuki-san, I'd love to help you, but it's impossible to leave right now.
Ren narrowed her eyes. She figured it wouldn't be that easy. Still, if Ren could learn what the nature of the obstruction was, she'd be able to come up with a plan for it. Tama raised a hand and pointed towards the northwest.
If you leave the school and then turn left, there's a tunnel passage that'll bring you to the nearby village. But there was an incident at the tunnel that caused a cave-in, so we can't leave through it, and there are no other ways out of the area.
Ren's brow lifted at Tama's words. She instantly felt as though she was merely a step away from escaping this school.
So that's how it is, huh? Naruhodo. That's not so bad. I was worried it'd be some kind of occult or supernatural situation. The fact that the exit exists at all is good news. It's just that it's blocked is all. An accident? So when exactly did the tunnel get blocked? I don't know. We discovered the blockage a year ago. Are you serious? A whole year?
Ren stared with wide eyes, Tama's words echoing in her head. Tama nodded. She apparently saw nothing wrong with her statement, and instead looked curiously at Ran.
Is something wrong, Ibuki-san? Of course there's something wrong with that. You said just now that the tunnel is the only way to get to the outside world from here. So none of you have gone home or talked to your families in a whole year? And if the road is blocked, then nobody can get in here, right? So what have you been eating? Are you telling me you had a year's worth of supplies stored in your school? Really, from the moment that this school showed up, in a place that's so inconvenient to visit and so isolated from other residential areas, the strangeness should have been self-evident. I don't know. There's always been enough to eat at the school.
Ren couldn't help but let out a heavy sigh.
Look, even disregarding the food thing, you're telling me the situation is that you all have basically been locked in here for over a whole year? You don't think there's anything weird about that?
Thank you for the stretch, Nick. Ooh, my back cracked a little.
Nice.
Tama had broken eye contact with Ren, and was looking straight down at the ground while nervously fidgeting with her hands.
I don't...
Seeing Tama's reaction, for a moment Ren thought she was looking into a mirror. She quickly lowered her voice in contrition.
Sorry, I just got a bit worked up, but you really aren't worried about being trapped here? I mean, calling it being trapped... We're supposed to stay at the school anyway until we graduate. I'm sure the tunnel will be fixed by then, so as long as we can leave by then, we'll be fine. Graduation, huh? But... I'm sorry, Ibuki-san.
Tama spoke timidly, interrupting Ren's thoughts.
Can we hurry to the classroom? I'm afraid I won't have enough time to clean up.
Tama's gaze slid all over the place nervously and unnaturally, trying to look anywhere other than at Ren's eyes. Ren could practically hear the grinding sounds. It was like she and Tama were gears spinning in opposite directions so that their teeth now clashed against each other.
Is this really the time for cleaning?
Ren decided to capitulate and go along with Tama for now.
Sorry. Yeah, let's go then. A year. No matter how you think about it, being trapped in a school for a whole year can't be called normal. Let's go ahead and meet the other students for now and see how they feel. With any luck, I'll find someone who wants to get out of here like I do.
I feel like she should be more concerned of how she got here. Like, sure, getting out is very important, but you've just found out now that they can't leave. So how did you get in? I feel like she's not thinking about the right things. But whatever, go eat some paper, nerd. After they entered the school building, Ren had wanted to ask Tama whether she had any thoughts about the broken down staircase ahead of them. But the overly natural way that Tama had been behaving up to now made Ren think that, even if she asked, Tama would only give some entirely inconsequential and irrelevant response. What was interesting, though, was that After Tama took off her short boots at the shoe racks and placed them into her cubbyhole, she actually took out a pair of black wooden clogs for use as indoor shoes. And it looked like there wouldn't be any irritating clacks of wood clogs against wood flooring anytime in Tama's future. She walked in them with easy poise and utter silence, like she was taking a stroll on an early morning street free of other pedestrians. Ran guessed that maybe Tama possessed some special walking techniques or something. Like how in the movies, the maids at traditional hotels could run down the wooden halls together all in a row, without making any noises that might irritate a guest. Following Tama like this in the hallway, the difference between what she saw now and what she'd seen during the night made Ren feel that this place might not be so bad after all. In the past, she'd always arrived very early to school as well, and the school building from back then was just like this one here, empty and devoid of everything except her and the last night's air. And later on, a certain Ann Sakura would join Ran at her side on mornings like that.
Sakura, just where are you?
I'm pretty sure she's dead. So... As Ren's brain spun a memory up for her, Tama, who was still ahead, suddenly stopped to pull out a red and black flip phone from an inner pocket on the upper half of her outfit. She opened the phone and tapped at it a few times. Then her eyes began to shine as she raised a hand to cover her giggles. Tama seemed like she was trying to type something into her phone and held it with both hands, tapping clumsily on the numpad with her thumbs.
What is it? Something good happen?
Oh, it's nothing. Just my roommate always sends me a text message every morning after she gets up. With fascinating content every time, too.
Tama smiled in self-evident bliss.
Asakura-san is my roommate. I believe she's been mentioned before.
Wait.
Ren raised a hand, making a timeout gesture with it.
You said that you got a text?
Yes, that's what they're called, right? It's that thing where I can see the words that Asakura-san sends to me.
Ren immediately pulled her own phone out of her pocket. She swiped open the screen only to find that the upper left corner continued to read "No signal, clear as day."
No signal? Indo, can I see your phone?
Please, go right ahead.
Tama presented her flip phone to Ren with both hands. The screen on Tama's phone read the exact same though. No signal. It left her thoroughly vexed. Ren tapped her own phone number into the antique flip phone, but she only got a mechanical sounding female voice which informed her that she was unable to connect. Even more strangely, her phone, which definitely had a Japanese SIM card plugged into it, was emitting system error noises in Chinese.
Alright, sure. Okay. So the students' phones must have been modified in some way. Ah, sorry for the holdup. Here's your phone back.
Ren handed the phone back to Tama, who carefully returned it to its interior pocket. Ren couldn't help but feel like the phone and the hakama Tama wore made for a bizarre combination, even though the flip phone itself was quite outdated as well.
I'm sorry, I don't understand much when it comes to how phones work.
You don't need to apologize for that. How come you're always trying to apologize, Indo? We can talk about the phone thing later. Let's get going for now.
Okay. I often make trouble for others because I don't know how to use my phone. So Ibuki-san's reaction made me worried I'd done something wrong again.
The way she thinks is as adorable as the way she looks. I wish I could touch her hair buns. It's fine, it's my problem, not yours.
Tama nodded. The two of them continued advancing down the hallway and quickly reached the classroom. Thank you for the water break, Era. Tama jogged all the way to the storage cabinet at the back of the classroom and opened it. She got out a broom and dustpan and began to tidy up, starting from the rearmost row of desks.
Let me help as well. Is there anything I can do?
Sure, Ibuki-san, thank you. Could you wipe off the window and blackboard with a rag, please? A dry rag will be fine.
Okay.
Ran approached the storage cabinet, taking the opportunity to investigate if there was anything noteworthy in the cabinet. But she didn't find anything worth mentioning. Ran could only take up a white rag and start wiping off the blackboard at a measured pace. After she finished cleaning off the blackboard, Ran raised her head. Watching Tama's petite form scramble all over the room cleaning things up, she suddenly felt like there was something strange about the classroom. Hello, Hikari, welcome! Welcome!
By the way, Indo, why does the classroom have so many desks if you've only got 7 students here?
Oh, that.
Tama took a long breath, apparently very pleased with the fruits of her labor.
It was like this when we showed up here.
Showed up here?
We thought about reorganizing, but the desks are pretty heavy, and moving them all would be a lot of effort. So we decided to just keep the place as it is, and we can use the spare desks as extras if we ever need them.
Ren feigned apathy and nodded, thinking to herself,
This explanation just barely makes sense. It's similar to the question of why the students are packed up 2 to a room despite how large the dormitory building is. It's not that weird on its own, but there's gotta be more reasonable ways to handle these things, right? But...
Ren looked at Tama, who was reorganizing the storage cabinet with her... What just came and went so quickly? With the storage cabinet with her back to Ren, and opened her mouth to speak. Okay, choice time! Do we ask about the difference between Indo and Yorino's school uniforms? Or do we just tell Indo that her outfit suits her well because we're charismatic and we can do that? Yeah, I figured this question was gonna be pretty set, yeah. Alright, number 2. A new recall point. Okay. I read that there's gonna be a lot of like backtracking in this game, so I guess that's why that recall log is there. Recall log.
Indo, that hagama looks wonderful on you. It goes really well with your hairstyle.
Really? Thank you, Ibuki-san.
Tama set down her broom. She turned and raised her arms and shook her wide sleeves towards Ren a few times.
I was a little afraid to wear them at first, since it used to be that only the young mistresses were permitted to wear fine clothes like this.
Only the young mistresses?
When I visited the instructor back then, I always had to wait by the window for the young mistresses' class to end. I always wanted to wear clothes the way they did and attend school like them. Not to mention the lengths that the young mistress and I were forced to go to. After that earthquake, it was terrible.
In a departure from her usual restrained demeanor, Tama had begun to speak in a higher-pitched voice. She was clearly quite excited.
That's why I'm so happy nowadays. My classmates are all so kind to me, and I even get to wear such fine clothes as these.
Young mistress? And what did she mean exactly by not being allowed to wear fine clothes? Just what is Indo talking about? Indo, where did you live before you came to school here?
Over in Yokohama.
What? Yokohama? Wait, what did you say about an earthquake? And your clothes, how could it be? How could that be possible?
Okay, so I feel like I'm figuring things out. Has experienced the Great Kanto earthquake. Yeah. Okay. Whoa, a new face! Someone suddenly shouted from the classroom door. Ran turned her head and saw a female student with her hands in her pockets, quickly stepping towards the blackboard. The female student grinned. She seemed quite interested in Ran.
So what's your name? Are you a transfer student? When did you get here? Ran immediately noticed an embroidered crest on her uniform's breast. It had clearly been sewn on after the fact, rather than being the crest of the school itself. Before she could answer, though, another student entered the classroom.
What is it, Aya? Did something...
As soon as the latest arrival saw Ran, the smile on her face fell away immediately.
Who are you? Why would there be anyone here other than ourselves?
The female student, who'd been addressed as Aya, was circling Ran and scrutinizing her form head to toe.
These two have different uniforms as well, though theirs are relatively more modern, with quite the unified design language, no less. I'm Ran Ibuki. I found my way here after I got lost.
What's this? Oh. Oops. The second of the female students furrowed her brow a bit, staring at Ran. Oh, there's conversations happening in the background, I guess.
Good morning, Tama-chan.
Ta-ma-chan? Or is that just because it can't fit?
Good morning, Toyama-san.
The voices of people speaking around you will appear in the form of speech bubbles in the upper right corner. The newest speech bubble will be indented further than the others until the next bubble arrives, at which point it will return to its regular position on the right. If you missed a conversation, you can check the logs for lines marked with a star. Lines heard through eavesdropping in this way will be recorded in the order in which they were heard. But, oh, I think I have a new voice for her. But we're in the mountains, and the tunnel road's been closed off. How did you get so lost that you wound up somewhere like this? Are you on duty today? The suspicious female student, who wouldn't stop asking incisive questions, seemed rather displeased. Ran, on the other hand, felt her mood brighten just a little. This student in the tuxedo uniform is the first person in this school to actually ask why I appeared here at all. Oh. No one- I keep forgetting to read these up here. Did I miss one? Okay, no. No wonder Makoto's not here yet. She never gets up this early, does she? I'm more than happy enough with Asukara's-san's usual willingness to accompany me to class. Still, if I just tell her that I don't know what's going on either, it'll just make her more suspicious of me. It might even impede my ability to converse with the other students. My best hope for now is to just blunder through, and to talk to her again later once I've understood her a little better. I don't know why, but I have a feeling she's going to be very helpful to me in the future. I don't remember either. I just know that I came to this area to look for someone, and then before I'd realized, You haven't actually answered my question, have you? Are you hiding something? Okay, Mio, you can stop bothering the new girl now. The student named Aya put both her hands on Ran's shoulders, looking quite pleased. It's rare for us to get a new student. Try your best to get along with her. You go by Ran-chan, right? I'm Aya. Aya Toyama. She's like not that good of an artist, I'll be honest. Even though I know she's calling me in Japanese, it still sounds so awkward in Chinese. And the rude but cute one over there is Miho Takai. Aya, I suggest you keep your distance from her. Sorry, I just speak the truth. After dropping that parting shot, Miho retreated back to her own desk, as though she'd lost all interest in participating in a conversation related to Ran. Don't worry, Ran-chan. Miho always talks like that, but I know the truth. She's very happy that we've got a new classmate in her school as well. On the slightest. You answered that way too fast! What even is up with these two? Are they doing a bit? Though, Toyama's got a choker on her neck. Seems like she's got rather particular taste.
Okay. Do we do our investigation check or do we ask about the blocked tunnel? Investigate it is.
Toyama, did you embroider the crest on your uniform yourself?
You're asking about the crest, Ranchan, but you've been staring at my choker the entire time. That's what you're really curious about, isn't it? Aya pointed at the star-shaped bangle dangling from the choker on her neck. Because you were insincere, I'm not going to tell you this time. Ask again later.
Well, that's not fair. I mean, how the hell are you supposed to start a conversation off by asking about a choker? Oh well, it's not important, I guess. Let's just ask what she thinks about the tunnel instead. Look, Toyama, I can't afford to stay here too long. If there's any way out of here other than the collapsed tunnel, please let me know about it.
Ways out, huh?
Even though I'd also like for you to leave as quickly as possible, there really are no other ways out. That said, are you implying you need to flee for some reason? You've completed whatever nefarious mission it was that you infiltrated the school for, so now you're getting ready to flee?
I like her. I think she's my favorite so far.
You're being overdramatic. I really am just an ordinary high schooler who got lost, alright?
Miho turned away once again and began pulling textbooks out from her desk. Aya, on the other hand, deposited her head onto Rand's shoulder, facing Miho, and whispered,
Isn't she just like a shy kitten? She's adorable, right? So try not to let her rile you up, and do your best to get along together, Ranchan. I'll try, even though I'm more of a dog person, really. As far as the school's concerned, I think Yoruno's the only cat it needs. Though, I guess she's more of a feral cat, whereas Takai is closer to a house cat.
Aya started giggling at Rand's words. She gave Rand a few pats on the shoulder and then bounced back to Miho's side where the two of them started chatting about other things. I want them to kiss. Rand shrugged, folded up the rag, and headed towards the storage cabinet in the back of the classroom.
Thank you for helping, Ibuki-san.
No need to thank me, this place is immaculately clean, honestly. I barely even had anything to do.
Tama-chan, finished with your daily duties?
Why is she southern? My bad.
Asakura-san!
After hearing Asakura's voice, Tama ran over to the back door immediately. Ran returned the rag to the storage cabinet and looked towards Tama and Asakura.
So in this extended pet metaphor, if Indo is the puppy, then I suppose she's the owner. I imagine if Indo had a tail, she'd be wagging it right now.
Okay. Tama and Asakura didn't chat for long before Tama lifted a hand and gestured at Ran. Asakura's eyes widened upon seeing Ran. She bent down and whispered a few more things to Tama. Tama nodded in response and Asakura laughed before approaching Ran.
I wasn't expecting to see any strangers in the school.
Guess she's staying southern. Asakura held out her hand for Ran to shake.
I'm Makoto Asakura. Your name is Ran Ibuki, correct?
Oh, it's getting worse. Unfortunately, I only have like 3 female voices. So...
That's right, I'm Ran Ibuki, the Lost Wanderer.
The math homework yesterday was so hard. Help me, Miho.
So she's that Asakura who's responsible for maintenance. She looks like the no-nonsense type.
Absolutely not. You're only having trouble because you're lazy and you don't study. Oh, seems like you're a pretty interesting person. Though you might feel a little lost at first, having just arrived, you'll find that everybody here is quite nice. You definitely won't find yourself bored.
I like the good mornings on the side, it's cute.
Everyone has indeed been quite friendly. Such as Takai, for instance.
Actually, I've been having trouble keeping up with math class like Toyama-san as well.
Okay, Do we ask about Asakura and Indo's relationship? Or do we ask about the tunnel? Am I still doing the southern accent? Yes and no. It's there and it's also not. Okay, relationship.
Tama mentioned to me that she receives a text from you every morning, Asakura. She also gets quite excited whenever she brings you up.
Makoto Asakura nodded, her eyes splitting over to Tama, who was in the middle of a conversation with Miho. Almost at the exact moment she looked over, Tama looked up and waved back at her as well.
Well, there's always a new text from her sitting in my phone first thing every morning after all, so of course I have to send a reply.
Asakura waved back to Tama as she continued speaking.
Let's talk about you first for now. There's not a lot going on with me that's worth talking about.
Please. Please, I don't want to do this. Rin! Rin, welcome to Yuri!
Asakura, I still have something very important to do, and I can't afford to stay here. Do you know where the nearest station is?
Damn. So Takai's gonna help Tama with homework, but not Aya. That's messed up. Anyone I want to kiss? No, I'm not kissing anyone. My girlfriend is dead. This is not a dating sim, my friends. This is a horror. Thank you, Yasha, for saying the voices are fitting even if you're lying. Makoto Asakura folded her arms in front of her chest and thought for a moment before speaking.
Miho, why won't you teach me too?
Okay, a voice will come to me. For Asakura, like a voice will come. It's just not here right now.
If you head west on the path that leads out of the school gate, you'll reach a tunnel eventually. If you go through that, you can find a station pretty quickly. But certain events have caused the tunnel to become blocked, so you're probably out of luck there.
Because unlike you, Tama takes what she does seriously.
The horrors are the yaoi along the journey, or whatever people call it. Yeah. Yeah, the horrors are the yaoi we met on the way. I guess. Okay, quick stretch. Oh, yes, we did. You all, chat, decided to kiss a corpse. That was not a choice I made. That was a choice that you all made.
I don't know when they'll send people to handle the situation either. Even someone like me who's charge of maintenance at the school. Can't do anything about the tunnel.
I know she doesn't have a southern accent. I need her to go away. Asakura started giggling to herself for some reason. Ren didn't see what was so funny though.
Though if you're planning to check it out for yourself, you should pick a later date. On the way here, I noticed the skies have already begun darkening. I imagine it's going to rain pretty soon.
Ren nodded in response.
All the students seem to share the same attitude when it comes to the collapsed tunnel. Nobody seems to be concerned at all, even though it's such a major hazard.
You said you had something important to do before, though. What did you mean by that? Ren blinked. She hadn't expected that Makoto Asakura would want to revisit what Ren had mentioned a few minutes ago after answering Ren's questions.
My girlfriend's missing. I'm looking for her.
Girlfriend? Makoto raised an eyebrow with deliberation. Very well, then if you run into any problems at school, don't hesitate to give me a call. Hello? It's like not a response to that, but okay. Makoto waved goodbye to Ren and then took a seat with Tama.
Asakura and Indo look almost like mother and child next to each other.
Well... Ran, seeing everyone else return to their seats, headed for an empty desk near the classroom door as well. She sat down at the desk and took her phone out. The screen indicated that it was currently 6:52. It's only been 52 minutes? Like, since we woke up? That doesn't seem right, but okay. She'd originally just wanted to burn spare time before the rest of the students arrived in the classroom to start their morning meeting. But once she saw her lover's photo, Ran gave a deep sigh and slumped onto the desk. The noises of the other students' conversations around her faded into white noise as Ran remembered the time she spent alone with her lover in their classroom.
Don't think about these things, just focus on what's in front of you.
Crisis averted. Who the hell is this? Good morning, everyone. An unfamiliar voice came from above. Ran slowly turned her head and saw a new face.
So, counting this girl, I've seen 6 people now. Just missing the last one, then.
Ah, you're... Why is there a stranger here?
Feels like I've heard that response a billion times today by now.
Well, there's only 7 people, so...
Good morning, my name's Ranabuki, and I got lost and arrived here by accident.
Lost? Here? How could that be?
The girl seemed somewhat panicked and looked towards the rest of her classmates for support. Aya flashed a big, "Okay!" sign at her with both hands.
Don't worry, Prez. Ranchan is a good classmate.
Well, except for how she's an extremely suspicious outsider and all.
Wait, give me a moment to calm down.
The class president laid a hand on her chest and took a couple of deep breaths, like that, before straightening herself and speaking.
Ranchan, nice to meet you. My name is Koizumi Hinata. I'm the class president, and I'd like to formally welcome you to our class.
Thanks, but my name is Ranabuki, not Ranchan. Look, Miss President, I'm just trying to figure out a way to get out of here. I don't plan to join the class, and besides, I'm not even from here in the first place.
Thank you, Nick, for the water break.
Do you know a way to get out of here, Class President?
Hi, Epiko, thank you for the follow. Bums. Hello, henchman. Welcome to Yuri practice.
It's unfortunate, but the only path out of here, the tunnel, can't be used at the moment.
Heard that one a billion times as well today. Okay, so how do you know when it might be fixed then?
I don't know either, but it won't have any effect on our school. But it won't have any effect on our life here at school, so you don't need to worry about it at all, Ibuki-san.
Why is everyone so nonchalant with it? Bro, like, what is going on? We're trapped here.
Come on, let's get you up to the front of the school so you can introduce yourself.
Why? No, Prez, I'm not a transfers.
Go on up there, Ibuki. I thought you'd like to run your mouth. Sai entered the classroom from the rear entrance and took a seat in the second furthest row from the front, still carrying a bag in her hands.
Yoruno.
Ren realized that everyone in the class was looking at her now, with Koizumi's expression being particularly enthusiastic.
If I keep refusing, it'll just make my presence here awkward. There's no need for me to push back against all of them at the same time. I wonder if Yoruno picked this moment to show up on purpose, though. Alright then, as you wish, President.
Koizumi looked quite pleased and, without even setting her own school bag down first, grabbed Ran and started to pull her towards the lectern. But she moved too quickly and inadvertently tripped over one of the corners of the lectern. At that moment, Ran... Do we reach towards the class president? Or do we use temporary points? We would need to use 3 points. So 3 points or... Good night, Yasha. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, Era says to use 3 of our 6 points. And so does Nick, alright. Unless someone quickly says right now. The soundtrack is so spooky, shut up. Oh, can we only do +1? Oh, there we go, okay. How many do we need? Okay. Wait, did I accidentally take 1 too many? No, I didn't.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we're gonna step up and catch the class president.
Ah! Whoa, class rep.
They stare into each other's eyes. Ran dashed forward, catching Koizumi with her left hand and her school bag with her right.
Are you okay, class president?
I'm fine, thank you.
Ran noticed that Koizumi had taken a very sharp intake of breath just then, as though she'd been panicked or scared about something. Ran decided to say something to try to calm her down.
The past me would surely never have thought of such a thing. It's all thanks to Sakura's support that I've become capable of engaging with strangers.
Genuinely? I might have said Chrono Trigger just because I know that game, and that might have been in my brain. It's very possible that that's what I was saying. My bad. This is what Ran thought of.
You smell quite lovely this morning, class president. What brand of shampoo do you use?
Lovely? Is it that lovely? I don't remember. This morning I used someone else's shampoo while showering at the dorms.
Koizumi's hands clung lightly onto Ran's shoulders, and the pace of her breathing quickly became irregular. Because why is that the question you asked?
Wait, what's this?
Ran happened to still be holding onto Koizumi's school bag with her right hand, and she noticed that she could feel a strange texture in her palm.
What is this in here? It's soft, not like a textbook at all, and when I apply pressure, it makes a sound. A plastic bag? And it feels like there's something thick and slippery inside it.
Ibuki-san, I'm fine now.
Excuse me.
Ran let go, allowing Koizumi to stand up on her own. Only then did she notice that Koizumi was blushing furiously, and that she was studiously avoiding Ran's eyes.
Is there something wrong, President? Do you have a fever?
No, just... When you embraced me just now, Ibuki-san, I just got a little nervous, so my heartbeat went into disarray.
I hadn't pegged you for a jokester, class president.
No, I really was. No, never mind.
Bro, what was in the bag? Suddenly, Aya rose with a shout.
Class president, did I just see you and the transfer student embracing each other? What? No! Ibuki-san just stopped me from falling, that's all. You clearly also saw me almost trip, didn't you, Toyama-san?
She's crying.
Aya, don't make fun of Hinata.
Okay, got it. After Miho finished speaking, Aya sat back down in her seat obediently.
My apologies, I've made a laughingstock of myself before all of you.
First time I've heard anyone say the word laughingstock in everyday conversation.
Please, proceed with your self-introduction, Ibuki-san.
What was in the bag?
Sure. Tried to be more careful, class president.
Ran stepped up to the lectern and swept her gaze over all the students in the classroom.
President, should I start my introduction now? Aren't we missing someone?
Oh, that's right. She hasn't arrived yet.
The class president's response seems a bit strange.
Sakura-san hasn't shown... Sakura-san hasn't shown up yet, but she woke up even earlier than I did this morning, I'd have thought.
Someone with the same family name as Miss Sakura? Now I'm worried about meeting them.
Bro, this can't be a coincidence. The 7th classmate's name is Sakura. Our missing girlfriend's name is Sakura. There's not that many Sakuras in the world. This is not a coincidence. Am I the only one shocked by this? Am I the only one that cares? Am I the only one? You know what? Whatever.
Hinata, have you forgotten?
That's not her voice, my bad. Miho spoke lightly, with her fingers interwoven and steepled. Now what the hell does this mean?
We picked lots yesterday. It's possible that she's the victim this time around.
Victim? Ran ruminated on this strange phrase, one which wasn't supposed to show up in a regular conversation between high school students.
What are they talking about?
If Miss Sakura was the victim, then she might already be dead, right?
Hello?
Dead?
Ron let out a small shriek.
Gosh, this round's killer sure got right to work. What are you all talking about?
Then according to the rules, we're gonna have to cancel the morning classes and skip right to the coursework. As soon as Sai finished speaking, she picked up her bag and left her seat. Ran looked about in bewilderment, hoping someone would explain things to her and me, but the others were also cleaning up their things and getting ready to leave. This is not a slice of life. It's a horror. Also, thank you, Nick. Oh, thank you, Mel. Oh my god, thank you guys. I'm gonna drink some water. I saw Sakura earlier this morning while swimming. It's possible her corpse is somewhere around there.
Hold on.
Ran couldn't stand the growing stress in her heart anymore. She felt like she was going to explode from the pressure if she didn't do something about it.
Just what are you all trying to say? That person who didn't show up, you called her... Sakura.
Ran couldn't breathe and she couldn't say the name. Well, she did, so... She lost control of her heartbeat again and clenched her fists under her fingernails until her fingernails pierced the skin of her palm to forcibly regain control of her emotions. Grab the paper, girlie. Grab the paper before you freak out. Ran had to take several deep breaths before she was able to speak normally again.
That person who hasn't shown up yet. What did you say happened to her?
Koizumi approached Ran, seeming rather concerned about Ran's sudden irregular behavior.
What's wrong, Ibuki-san? Are you feeling unwell?
Forget that, answer me!
Ran's outburst stunned Koizumi slightly, who froze up without giving her an answer. Miho, seeing the situation, intervened quickly and spoke. It's as they said, the person who hasn't shown up yet has most likely already been killed. And the killer is one of the 6 of us. I didn't realize this was a death game. Hearing those words, Ran's brow furrowed. She looked at everyone in the room, trying to divine from their expressions if this was some practical joke they were all playing on her, to no avail. The stress that immediately came upon her afterwards pushed her half to her knees, and she was forced to lean on the wall for support as she broke out into sweat again. She felt the urge to dry heave, a sign that her illness was about to act up again, but she didn't want to reveal those symptoms to anyone in this room. An image of a torn sheet of paper flashed through her mind once again. Eat it, eat it.
You're saying that you've killed someone?
We've already said it a bunch of times, haven't we? Yes, one of our classmates has been killed by someone in this class. They once again confirmed the truth of this bizarre situation.
What's going on? What the fuck is happening in this school? What kind of place have I been brought to? Weren't things fine just a moment ago? How did it suddenly become like...
By this point, the other students had encircled Ran, who was squatting on the floor. They were all looking at her. But Ran, the subject of their gaze, was afraid to look at them. Me too. For fear that she'd see that their faces had already begun to melt. Ibuki, why are you freaking out?
Why should I not be freaking out?
Ran was quietly hyperventilating. I don't know how you can quietly do that.
Forget seeing the corpse. Just your nonchalant attitude and the way you're all talking about something like this is enough to make me want to panic like a crab in a deep fryer.
Ran is not a guy. No, Ran is a girl. This is a Yuri. So... I sure ain't never seen a crab that can still crack a joke like that after it's already been thrown in the fryer. Ran used the periphery of her vision to peek at Sai's face. It didn't look like there were any irregularities. She relaxed slightly at that and slowly raised her head to look at the other students. You don't look like you're putting up an act. Miho bent down and began to gently stroke Ran's back. Don't touch me. I'm responsible for filling the role of the school nurse here. Let me take a look at you.
No, I think the missing person is the one who really needs your attention right now.
Miho chuckled a little.
You're absolutely right. If you think there's nothing wrong with yourself, then stand up and come along, and let's go find the corpse together.
Yes, well, we're not Ran, no, she's just the main character, so we're no one. We are the whispers in the winds. The friendships we made along the way. The snow underfoot. I don't know. Miho offered a hand for Ran to take as she turned to speak to Sai.
Yuruno-san, lead the way, if you will.
Sure thing. Fair warning though, I don't actually know if her corpse is really there. All I know is that I saw her hanging around there while I was swimming. Miho pulled Ran to her feet and then nodded at Sai.
I think it's quite likely that's the place then, after all.
And now what are the odds that they have the same first and last name?
Anne hardly ever visits the swimming pool.
That's true, I've never seen Anne go swimming of her own volition. So she might well have met with the killer there before getting killed. Then we should get going quickly. It'd be pitiful to leave Anne there all by herself for too long. We should deal with it sooner rather than later so that she can be at peace, right? Just as the three of them finished speaking, a loud noise came from the direction of the lectern. Ran, who'd just managed to get to her feet, had once again fallen to her knees. Trembling all over, she seized Miho's wrist with both hands. Ran stared at her with such intensity that even the normally unflappable Miho Takai was startled, flinching backwards instinctively. Oh, okay, so this is like the crazy taking over. That person who didn't come, the one you said might have been killed, what was their name? Miho seemed like she was suppressing her own disordered thoughts to keep herself calm. She turned her wrist and grabbed Ran's hand, trying to pull her off the ground, but Ran's tight grasp on her almost caused Miho to collapse instead. Answer me, what was her name?
What's up with you? All right, I really don't know why you have to ask about this right now, but the name of the person we've been talking about is Anne Sakura.
Okay, so, let's check out our notes. Nothing new here. Nothing new here. Okay, we actually never read Aya's thing. Uniform styled after winter sportswear. Constantly smiling cheerfully, seems almost naively innocent, only willing to speak facetiously to Miho. She's unwilling to reveal her true feelings, enjoys playing the guitar in her spare time. Sure, why not? Miho. Uniform styled after Western-styled suits, calm and collected, and the only student to express suspicion about Ran. However, her intentions towards Ran seem to be benevolent. Ran harbors positive feelings towards her, but even Ran herself can't explain where these feelings originate. Serves as the school nurse. Uniform styled after Western-styled... Another? Okay. Western-styled suits. Adaptable and difficult to shock, but in an indifferent rather than collected way. Skilled in speaking diplomatically. The way Tama Indo behaves around her seems almost servile in nature. Uniform styled after a sleeveless dress with a shirt and shawl. After she was selected as class president, she took the responsibility very seriously. Often indecisive and hesitant, and tends to go with the flow when others propose ideas or suggestions. Easily falls into confusion when faced with unexpected situations. Arguably the worst type of person to be class president, personally. It's how I feel about that. Okay. Ranibuki had always liked the rain. She especially loved it when it started storming without warning. Watching strangers outside her window scramble around for shelter while she hid safely at home gave her an indescribable sense of security. When she told Anne about this, her love asked her,
But how would you feel if I were the one trapped in the rain?
How did I answer her back then? Ren trailed behind everyone else as they headed towards the place where Sai said she had last seen Anne. She didn't say a word and only occasionally looked up towards the sky, watching the dark clouds slowly converge.
If Sakura-san knew she might get killed, why would she go over there at all in the first place?
She's always been pretty cooperative with her killers. She never put up much of a fight whenever I was supposed to kill her either. Okay. The students ahead of her all seemed quite at ease. They'd spend the whole trip discussing Anne and the murder with each other. That's true. Whenever it's Anne's turn to be the victim, the culprit always tends to strike quickly. Now hang on, you shouldn't let yourselves get spoiled just because Anne's so easy to work with. If we keep relying on her cooperation, then we'll have to change the rules eventually. Shouldn't we just focus on who the culprit is first anyways? If she really did die near the swimming pool, then wouldn't that make me the prime suspect?
Does that make Yuruno-san the culprit then?
Indo, let me tell you, it's not a bad thing to be so straightforward, but you're not going to find the answer that way. Hey, it's not like she's completely straightforward. Tama frequently surprises all of us with the things she chooses to do. Too. Isn't that right, Tama? Tama shook her head fiercely.
I just picked up a few things from my books is all, because I hadn't had the chance to read often before. And despite knowing my methods, Asakura-san's never exposed me before.
Well, we did read those books together after all. Listening to the students' conversations, Ran began scratching her scalp again, but it didn't stop the pressure from rising within her. Hey, are you okay? Slowing her steps, Miho came to Ran's side. No, I'm fine. Shouldn't you be happy that I'm suffering anyways? I thought you hated me. Ran turned her head away, not wanting to speak to Miho. You're making me sound like some kind of psychopath. I don't hate you, okay? I just wanted to know why you showed up here at our school. Miho tilted her head slightly and inspected Ran's face carefully. Pale face, trembling lips, pupil dilation's pretty unnatural too. Heavy headache? A bit. Miho pressed her hand against Ran's forehead for a moment. Well, at least there's no fever. Alright, I can probably imagine what you're thinking. You knew Anne previously, didn't you? I could tell from your uniform the other students should have noticed as well. So once you heard she'd been killed, you weren't able to wrap your mind around the idea, which is why you're in your present condition. The first time we went through all this, we had pretty much the same reaction as you did, but once we got used to it, we found that it wasn't a big deal after all. As soon as Miho had stopped speaking, Ren seized Miho's shoulder with a sudden hand. Noticing that something wasn't right, the others stopped as well. Got used to what? Murdering your own classmates? Or discussing the deceased with mockery?
Just explain to me. Why do you have to do things like this? You've really committed murder?
Don't be so quick to judge things you don't understand, Ibuki.
Well, make me understand then, damn it. Explain what exactly it is you've done clearly.
Thank you for the water break, Era. Ran felt Miho pressing a hand onto Ran's, so she turned her head and met Miho's eyes.
Ibuki-san, please calm down. Let's find Anne's corpse first, then we'll explain everything to you properly. Right now, even if we tried to tell you everything, you'd still have a hard time comprehending it. But if you see the corpse, I'm sure you'll understand as well.
Ran's hands trembled, and she shook her head helplessly.
How could I possibly understand?
Ran let go of Miho. Now it was Miho's turn to take hold of Ran's shoulder.
Let's go.
Miho, I would follow you anywhere.
Don't worry, Ibuki-san. Sakura-san will be okay.
Faced with Tama's supportive words, Ran had no idea how she was supposed to respond. She could only force out the barest of grimaces. I wish I could grimace. I can't.
Sakura-san, will the swimming pool freeze this year as well?
Yeah, the temperature's already gotten pretty low. It'll probably freeze over very soon. Yorino, you should consider spending less time swimming too. If you get a cramp in the swimming pool during the winter, I definitely won't jump in to save you. It's not like I've ever seen you there when it wasn't winter. Plus, I'm used to it already. It'll be fine.
Used to it?
Ooh, once it snows again, we can build snowmen in the courtyard again. Let's build a chibi Miho in the snow together, Sai-chan.
Are you bringing that up on purpose?
Ooh, right. That one time Sai-chan got killed, they hid your corpse in a snowman, didn't they? Almost scared me to death when I went to shovel up the snow that day.
All I can say is that sure is Tama for you, always exceeding our expectations.
Don't.
Tama's embarrassed expression made everyone crack up. What's the backstory? We don't know! We are all clueless. Tama's embarrassed expression made everyone cry. Oh, I already read that.
What in the hell?
We're almost there. See the old shower room up ahead? I saw Sakura go in there this morning. Ran lifted her head, looking where Sai was pointing. I even found it odd at the time, since I only ever used the new shower room on the other end myself. The old showers are much less convenient.
So that's where Miss Sakura is right now?
Ran took a few steps forward, eyes glued on the showers.
Ibuki-san?
Ran rushed towards the old shower room and pushed Miho, who was standing in front of her, out of the way with one hand. Poor Miho.
Ibuki-san!
Ran's footsteps grew faster and faster. She knocked Sai's shoulder out of the way as she charged forward. Ran rushed into the shower room that Sai had indicated. Clutching the frame of the door, she stared at the girl leaning against the wall before her. Ran pulled her shoulders in, not sure where she should put her hands. She flailed her arms meaninglessly in the air, as though she'd forgotten how to control her own body. Finally, she brought her hands before her own face, letting her fingers wander up and down her face like I don't know what that is. Ran pried her mouth open with her hands and finally let out a shriek. I'm not shrieking. Without question, the corpse in front of her was the love of her life. On Sakura. Oh! Dead body warning! My bad. Why she kinda got the Teto fit? There was a horizontal cut in the young woman's neck, which split the muscle and exposed blood vessels and vertebrae to the air. Massive amounts of blood had gushed forth from the wound, staining the collar of her shirt and continuing downwards to cover Anne Sakura's black outerwear with bloodstains. Looking up, Ran saw that Anne's long locks of hair had been splattered with blood, and in that moment she could only think that she ought to put those locks into her own mouth, so that she could suck the blood out. Anne always hated it when her hair got dirtied, after all. All Ran could think of was how she had to get her hair clean immediately, or else Anne would surely be disconsolate about it later. Such disjoint thoughts couldn't restore Ran's composure to her as she slowly looked downwards. There was a slight tilt to the old shower room's floor, which was causing the blood flow towards the right. By now it had converged into a river. Blood pooled over the drainage grate, slowly dripping, drop by drop, into the shadowy drain. In that moment, the sound of the dripping slammed itself into Rand's sanity over and over like a sledgehammer. Rand fell to her knees. She barely managed to catch herself with her elbows, bringing her into contact with the still flowing blood. Looking down, she saw her newly red-stained hands and knees and immediately arched her back and started tearing furiously into her own scalp. Grab the paper! Nails scraped harshly against skin, letting out spine-chilling sounds reminiscent of flesh being torn. Interspersed into it all was Rand's on and off weeping. Ew. Sakura. I'm not doing that. Rand's hands clawed even harder. Already there were traces of blood and skin stuffed under her fingernails. She felt like she was dangling on a spider's thread, that thread itself the only thing keeping her from losing her mind to hell. And the thing that had cast that thread in the first place was the mockery that the others had made of the murder, with their playful words. Ibuki-san. Miho seized Rand's hands from behind. What are you doing? Miss Sakura's blood. I'm telling you, Anne's fine. You're the one who's really scaring me right now. Miho helped her up and Rand immediately lost her balance and collapsed onto Miho's back. Can't stand up? Miho held Rand's waist with her left hand and gently patted her back with the right. Rand shook her head, her whole body powerless, but then she suddenly awoke and seized the collar of Miho's uniform with a trembling hand. Which one of you six killed her? Who was it? Tell me. Please, just calm down and let us explain. Listen to you? I've been looking for her for so long, and I finally managed to see her again. So why? Why did it have to be like this? Why did it have to be like this? Rand slowly released her grip on Miho's shirt as she wept unintelligibly. Miho didn't get angry with Rand's actions at all. She continued gently stroking Rand's back, trying to reassure her. She whispered quietly into Rand's ear. Ibuki-san, Aunt's not dead. She'll come back to us. Rand shook her head furiously. I don't understand. I don't understand a word of what you're saying. Don't keep making me. Soon the other students arrived on the scene as well. Oh, yup. Corpse sure is right there. I guess I really am the prime suspect, huh? Since it's near the swimming pool, let's presume that Yorino is the killer for now and start investigating. I swear, Asakura.
Then let's hurry and begin. Let's solve this case quickly and wake Sakura-san back up so that we can cheer Ibuki-san up again too.
Huh? Koizumi headed over to Anne's body and bent down, preparing to touch her. Don't touch her! Rand's reaction startled Koizumi, who pulled her hand back immediately and leapt up into a stiff pose, as though she was a misbehaving student who'd been told to stand in the corner and think about what she'd done wrong. Rand pushed Miho away and quickly stepped in front of Sai. I am done trying to understand what the hell you lot are saying, but you said people who die here can still come back to life, right? Tell me what I have to do. Ranchan seems terribly upset. Even though Rand's emotions have been heavily perturbed by the sight of Anne's corpse, she was very aware that her rationality hadn't completely shut down yet. She probably knew Anne before this. She remembered that everyone at the scene had either directly or indirectly mentioned this completely incomprehensible idea that the dead would ultimately reawaken. She likely believes that Anne is truly dead, that's why she's acting like this. And based on their attitude to them, killing their classmates and reviving the dead was completely commonplace and mundane at this point. I heard her say in the classroom that she was looking for her missing girlfriend. If Rand hadn't noticed those things, she would long since have completely lost her sanity at Anne's death and allowed her condition to consume her. Could she have met Anne? In fact, curiosity would probably have driven Rand to verify their outlandish claims anyways, had the victim here been anybody other than Anne Sakura. Basically, what you need to do is to identify the culprit and recount the steps that she took to commit the murder. If you recount everything correctly, Sakura will come back to life. How does the revival work? I can't imagine such a thing. First the wounds mend, then the blood regenerates, and last of all, the heart begins to beat again. Before this, well, there was this one time that the culprit cut off all the limbs of the victim and hid them in different locations all over the school. They even cut open the victim's abdomen to expose their internal organs. Sai's expression grew complex and she shrugged before continuing. Shrug emoji. We got to see for ourselves the full process of the victim's revival that time. So trust me, with such relatively light wounds as these, Sakura won't take more than a few seconds to come back to life. Ran covered her mouth as she imagined the scene that Sai had described. The kind of revival she's talking about is the type that restores the existing body, while still retaining the soul of the deceased? That means that it can't be the Golem delivery service. I don't know what that is. They reconstruct entirely new bodies for the dead, without retaining the soul. Golem Delivery Service is a non-physical conceptual entity with the power to restore those killed by a certain method, the details of which are unclear due to the memory loss, to the state they were in 1 hour prior to dying. This revival disregards the laws of physics and ends only when the one who was directly or indirectly responsible for killing the revived individual suffers brain death. In order to prevent the resurrected death from being discovered by others, Ran has been obligated 3 times to personally restore them to their natural state of existence. Okay, so Ran has some sort of supernatural background we've seen between this Golem Delivery Service and the Eclipse Silkworm thing. She's not just like a regular old girl, I guess.
Could it be Mr. Blood Sculptor? I remember that one could repair corpses by causing wounds to grow new tissues.
Ollie, can you sing me a lullaby? I don't know any lullabies. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so bright, like a diamond in the sky. Are these the words? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Yay! Bro, are those even the words to the song? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's karaoke. Next karaoke stream will be 1 year from now. Thank you. Anyway, back to the murder.
The blood sculptor requires a massive amount of readily available blood on hand, though, and I don't know if it has the power to preserve the soul. I've never seen it operate on a corpse either. There's plenty of other anomalies related to revival. No, most of those involve retrieving the dead from elsewhere altogether, leaving the original corpse where it lies.
I can't say I'm familiar with the song happening in chat right now. I'm so sorry. One second. Oh, sorry. I coughed and then I yawned. I think I'm good now.
Oh, Asakura-san sometimes goes all quiet, gets all serious face too.
I did. I'm putting myself to sleep because of the lullaby. That's how I sleep.
I can't imagine what kind of power it'd take to enact revival on the original corpse itself.
Is that so? I must have been thinking about you then. What?
In fact, with the conditions for resurrection being as bizarre as this, perhaps it's not a passive mechanism, but rather another conscious entity actively deciding whether the dead should be revived or not.
Sakura's corpse may not have made me want to hurl, but listening to you two sure does. Wow.
Damn, I can't figure it out. If only Lady Ihara were here, she'd surely be able to see the answer instantly.
I thought it just said she was a character. Did it not say that? Her full name is Yukari Ihara. According to her, this is a pseudonym, apparently an ordinary human based on current recorded interactions between Ran and Yukari. However, she possesses both exceedingly sharp intellect and deep insight into certain cognition-distorting anomalies. Once again, the details of which are unclear due to Ranabuki's memory loss, both of which seem impossible for an ordinary human to possess. Ranabuki is on cordial terms with her and often receives her assistance. Miss Ihara claims she aids Ran because she sees many similarities between herself and Ran. Okay. Sounds good. We're gonna be in this stinky bathroom until we solve a murder. Guys, I've never played Danganronpa before. I don't know if I'm gonna be good at this. How come you keep going into mute mode like that? Uh-oh. I played Ace Attorney 1. Objection! Ran sniffled a bit and forcefully wiped away her tears. Her eyes were still a little red from crying.
I understand. I was going to find the culprit anyways, no matter what. And if this can bring Miss Sakura back to life, then all the better. And when that happens, I will take Miss Sakura away from this place.
Well, you'll have to ask permission for that, but I guess that's none of our business. Ask permission?
Of course Miss Sakura will agree. After all, she's my girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
Is that true? That's the first I've heard of it. Anna's never mentioned you to us before. Oh, dagger to the heart. Never mentioned me? Forget it. I can figure that out later.
Ran turned and approached Anne's corpse. She kneeled down and brushed strands of hair away from Anne's face so that she could see it more clearly. The face she'd sought for so long made Ran's heartbeat almost stop for a moment, and she wanted to do nothing more than to pick up Anne and give her a deep old kiss. But Anne Sakura's bloodless face and the stench of blood all around them forced her to remain calm. Thank God.
Please, just endure it a little bit longer, Miss Sakura. I'll find the truth. No matter what the cause is, I've now been forced to participate in what they consider to be ordinary everyday life. This school has been isolated from the outside world for a year, without being affected at all. The linguistic abnormalities, these students who murder each other and revive the dead by finding the culprits, and all the rest of the strangeness. I have to keep my wits about me at all times. If I let myself believe, like they do, that all of this is completely normal, then it's possible that I'll never be able to get out of here. Miss Sakura, you have to wake up, please. I'm nothing without you.
Hinata, let's let Ibuki-san handle the coursework this time around.
Sure.
Koizumi Hinata only seemed to have regained the wits she'd lost from when Ran had berated her. She nodded her head in a panic, agreeing with Miho's statement.
Let's do as Takai-san suggested. This will help Ibuki-san understand the coursework at our school more quickly as well.
What's coursework supposed to mean?
I don't know if you noticed or not, but on our syllabus we only have classes in the morning, with every afternoon marked as free activities. This sort of situation is what we refer to when we say free activities. We consider this a part of our coursework as well. Under normal circumstances, we'd be competing with each other, but this time we'll let you handle it by yourself. We'll give you all the help you need.
Feel free. All I want to do is find the killer. You people's rules are your own business.
Ran took a deep breath, letting the stench of the blood and the pool's disinfecting scents mix together and flow, carried by her inhalation into her brain. It was like she'd injected a stimulant directly into her skull, and it slew each of her uncontrollable trains of thought. Ranabuki had returned to her normal state.
Then, let's begin investigating the crime scene.
Oh, God. Time to investigate. We have the handbag and the showers. And the corpse. So, any preference on what we start with? Handbag it is. Ren scanned the area, confirming the situation again. Besides, the area around the corpse, there are no other unnatural bloodstains. Miss Sakura's bloodstains don't show any indications that her corpse was dragged anywhere, so this should be the original scene of the crime. But there's an abnormal amount of blood at the scene of the crime, unless Miss Sakura didn't die quickly after her neck was cut, allowing her heart to continue pumping blood. But with a wound like this, death ought to have been extremely fast. Ran shook her head, stooped down, and opened Anne Sakura's handbag. The handbag has clearly been moved. Miss Sakura should have been carrying it on her shoulder, or at the least in her hand. When she was attacked, she stepped back and hit the wall before collapsing. The bag shouldn't have appeared here, and the bloodstains wouldn't have looked like this either. Did the killer take anything out of it? A notebook, some stationery. That's all that was in the bag. And the stationery didn't look like the kind that Miss Sakura usually favors either. And Ran searched all over the handbag, but she didn't find what she was looking for. Strange. I have Ollie on my TV, computer, and mobile, so I never miss a moment. That's dedication. That's loving your Oshi. You know what I mean? Like, that's... Y'all gotta get on that level. She put down the handbag and began rifling through the pockets of Anne's jacket and dress. Okay, never mind. I'm not a Zoshi. Never mind. Not here either. Miss Sakura didn't carry her phone with her? President, does Miss Sakura keep her phone on her usually? Koizumi seemed to skip a beat before answering.
We keep our phones on ourselves usually, otherwise we might not be able to call each other if we get into trouble.
Does Miss Sakura ever forget to bring her phone with her? I doubt it. Anne's very consistent. I've never seen her make a mistake. She's the kind of girl who could brush her teeth without spilling a drop of water. Welcome back, Grand. It's okay to not have an Oshi, I guess. It'll just be me. Pretty sure you're the only person in the whole class who can't. Back on topic, though, I don't think Anne would have forgotten to bring it. Were you looking for her phone just now? Yep. It's fine, I get it. Let's leave it at that. Are there any other clues? Dead body. Ran knelt next to Anne's corpse and brushed away the hair that covered her neck. A few strands of torn muscle dangled in the bloody wound. The skin draped atop it was as limp as a ragged cloth. Ran approached the wound for a closer inspection. The cut is extremely deep, reaching all the way to the depths of the cervical fascia. The most direct cause of death was most likely exsanguination from the severing of the neck veins and arteries. Though, as the windpipe has been severed as well, it's possible that Miss Sakura had already died of asphyxiation before the exsanguination reached fatal levels. No, please! I'm the only tennis streamer! Please, please! Ollie, I hate to say this, but I think she's dead. No! The act of draining one's blood. Thank you. Thank you. I will never ask how you know, because now I know. And I am a lover of knowledge. Miss Sakura's left hand shows no stains of blood on the palm side, and her right hand only at the fingertips. And even that's probably because it was dangling in the blood puddle on the floor. So, she didn't reflexively clutch at her throat when it was cut at all? Or she was holding something that made her incapable of reacting immediately. That noise. After a moment of hesitation, Ran used her right hand to peel the wound on Anne Sakura's neck open slightly. The separation of flesh and blood made a faint but gruesome squelch. It sure did. Blood trickled down Ran's pointer finger, tickling her slightly. Next, she's gonna, lick it.
The vertebrae haven't been severed, since, of course, none of the students here seem strong enough to cleave through both the vertebral column and the attached muscles of the neck in a single blow.
Rand stretched her neck out to observe in detail. She noticed that several small cut marks had been left on the vertebrae.
I see. It wasn't a single precise strike that severed the soft tissue of the neck apart like this. When the culprit attacked, their weapon was blocked by the vertebrae. Afterwards, they must have had to apply multiple cuts to expand the wound to such a startling degree. That's all the clues the wounds can provide. Let's see if there's any other clues.
Hello? That's it. There's nothing else to click on. There's nothing else here.
Miss Ibuki seems very practiced at this.
Thomas spoke in a quiet voice to Makoto. Maybe she's watched too many police procedurals.
Police? Procedurals?
Bro, we know that you're from 100 years ago. We get it.
I mentioned back when she showed up in the...
That's not her voice.
I mentioned back when she showed up in the classroom. No wonder how you look at her. Her claims that she got here by getting lost are highly suspicious. Not to mention how she says that she's just an ordinary high schooler.
Miho paused a bit, looking at Rand's silhouetted back before continuing. Silhouetted? Silhouetted. Perhaps Ibuki-san has her reasons to keep her secrets, though. Rand stood up and approached the students, who were whispering amongst themselves.
I finished investigating the corpse and picked up a few clues, but I'm not a coroner, and I can't determine the time of death. Takai, you said you're the school nurse here, right? Can you perform an autopsy?
What do you think? Rand shrugged.
Well, the way you all acted so cavalier about all this, I figured you'd have a whole procedure in place for this by now.
Looks like you've recovered quite well if you got the spare energy to snark at us.
I'm serious about wanting to know if there's anybody among you who can perform a corpse autopsy. The time of death of the victim is connected to the window of opportunity for the culprit to act, and thus to all of our alibis. Knowing it would be very helpful for eliminating suspects.
Wow, she does sound like she's on a cop drama. I was too embarrassed to talk like that the first time I investigated. Ranchan sure is incredible. Aya seemed so excited she was practically about to clap.
Now it's you all's turn to make fun of me, huh? Otherwise, right now's the only time frame we have to work with is Yorino's testimony about when she last saw Miss Sakura. If she's not lying, then Miss Sakura was killed sometime between when Yorino saw her and when the class president reached the classroom.
I'm not lying. If I were lying, I'd just not say anything about having seen Sakura this morning at all. After all, right now, it looks like my testimony is the only way you have to determine when Sakura was killed.
We don't know that for sure. If you killed Miss Sakura far earlier than that, then it might serve you to lie about having seen her alive, when in fact she was already dead by that point. Though the blood is yet to completely dry, so even if there's some error in the timing, it probably isn't that far off. Could have been anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour earlier, though.
Sai lifted her eyebrows and nodded as though she'd been enlightened. If we're just talking hypotheticals, then sure, I guess.
No matter what, Miss Sakura's death couldn't have happened any earlier than that. So let's start from the assumption that Yorino's not lying and start eliminating possibilities.
Koizumi nodded. They nod a lot, looking happy that Ran was fitting so well into the group's normal dynamic.
Go ahead, Ibuki-san. We'll all cooperate with you.
President,
What is it, Ibuki-san?
you realize that the most suspicious people right now are Yoruno, who was swimming at the pool, and you, the person who arrived the latest to class besides her.
Is that so? Oh, I get it. Because I arrived last in class, I had more time than anyone else to kill Sakura-san. Plus, I'm in the same dorm room as she is.
Correct. Then, besides the fact that I could not have possibly killed Miss Sakura, both by time frames and motives, the person that's least suspicious to me is Indo, who brought me to class this morning. But considering the possibility that Indo and Yorino could be working together, I can't eliminate her as a suspect entirely.
Working together? Would the culprit we drew this time really look for an accomplice to help her?
You drew the culprit? What kind of rule is that?
Let me explain. Put simply, the culprit and victim are all drawn via lots. Of course, besides the murderer, nobody knows who drew the victim lot. We can explain this in more detail afterwards. It's not relevant to your investigation at the moment. For now, just note that, though an accomplice situation isn't very likely, it can't be ruled out.
There's so many bizarre rules. Do they really treat this kind of thing as a game? Then in that case, you're not freed of suspicion either, since you and Toyama arrived at class together, and you can't provide alibis for each other anymore. Finally, we have Asakura. She's less suspicious than the class president, but not by much. So, therefore, we can't trivialize this just by excluding those with alibis, huh?
Ibuki-san, if that's true, then you can indeed confirm the identity of the culprit with a method like this sometimes. However, remembering that you still also have to accurately recount the culprit's methods before Anne's resurrection can take place.
I know.
Hearing Miho say the word resurrection again, Ran realized once more that what she was trying to do here could only be described as utter ridiculousness. But it was the only choice she had.
So, the key question is whether Yoruno actually saw Miss Sakura, as well as what Miss Sakura came here for. I think this is all I can get out of their testimonies. Now...
Ran gently touched the notebook in her jacket's pocket from outside.
Let's use the notebook. I've got some ideas, but I'd like to think by myself for a moment. I'll find somewhere quiet to get my thoughts in order. I'll leave Miss Sakura's corpse to you all.
Wait, why not tell us what you're thinking so we can help discuss your ideas with you? Yeah, wouldn't it be better to think together? Ran stopped at the door and turned to look towards Aya Toyama.
Sure, maybe. But just how exactly do you expect me to trust you all?
Alright everyone, gather in a circle and extend your pinkies. Promise me that you didn't kill her! Promise me right now! Oroch, welcome back! I'm so sorry that my beautiful lullaby didn't work. I'm so sorry. Ran looked around for a while to find a suitable place. Ultimately, she settled on a patch of grass outside the school building and sat down with her back to the schoolhouse's wall.
Please, help me. It doesn't matter how much of my blood you want this time. Just find the correct recall point that will let me save Miss Sakura.
Ran extracted the notebook from her jacket. She gently caressed the cover and raised her head to let Anne touch a thumb to her face. She knew that Anne wasn't actually here, of course. It was just that each of her recalls were always preceded by the same hallucination, that Anne Sakura was right there by her side. Hallucinations were her constant companion, of course, but it was always Anne's illusion that was strongest right before she performed a recall, to the point where she could almost smell the fragrance of her beloved's body. It was a warm scent, a fragrance that belonged only to Anne's body. Ran lowered her head, flipped to an empty page in the notebook, and pressed the 5 fingers of her right hand against the page.
Let's begin.
As soon as Rand spoke, it was as if a switch had been flipped. Her fingertips heated up and blood began to seep out through the grooves of her fingertips. The instant that the blood came into contact with the paper, it was absorbed into the pages. Like an appetizer, the first drop of blood had fully ignited the notebook's gluttony. Rand's fingers bled faster and faster, the red bloodstains spreading across the page before being instantly absorbed. The more the notebook drank, the more insatiable it became. Blood flew from her fingers at an alarming speed, even making tiny splashes against the surface of the page. Finally, the rate of bleeding began to outpace the rate at which the notebook could absorb the blood, and the page began staining itself red.
Hey, stop!
Rand pulled her hand up, away from the notebook, scattering a lingering crescent of blood onto the lawn in front of her. She wiped her fingers off on the page quickly, to get all the remaining stains off. Naturally, her fingers remained unblemished as was usual.
Look, I know I told you that you could drink as much as you wanted, but this is way too much. If you get drunk, who's going to help me here?
Is the book alive? As the blood lingering on the page was gradually absorbed, the notebook returned to its usual appearance, free of even a single bloodstain. Rand sighed.
This should be enough, right?
Rand flipped through the pages until she reached the recall tab. As she'd hoped, a new recall point had been formed.
I understand. So this is the meaning of the recall point you've found this time. If I decide at that moment to go along with Yorino, then I can see for myself whether she saw Miss Sakura and determine the exact time frame of the incident. You've given me plenty of indistinct recall points in the past, ones that I had to try multiple times before I understood their meanings. But this time, you've been quite precise. I guess you also want to do everything you can to help me revive Miss Sakura, huh? Alright, let's begin recalling.
On recall mode. In branch recalls, you can recall to previous points where a decision was made. In investigation recalls, you can recall to previous regions that you've investigated before. The bottom of the page holds new recall content that only becomes available when a victim has been confirmed. Special recalls allow you to find important clues to the current case through recall. After the clues have been found, you can terminate the recall session. Okay. Special recall, I guess. At the washstand, when Sai was about to go to the swimming pool. This morning, after bidding farewell to Ran and Tama, Sai visited the swimming pool by herself, making her into a critical witness for Ann Sakura's true time of death. Had Ran decided to visit the swimming pool with Sai at that time, she might have been able to get Ann Sakura's exact time of death, or perhaps even been able to see Ann herself. Okay, guys. As much as I would love to keep going, I do think this is a good spot to leave off on. I think this is perfect. It's a little rewind. And I'm scared that if we keep going from here, we might have to go for another like 3 hours, because I wouldn't want to stop until we got to another nice and easy stop point. And I don't see that happening with us solving a murder. So I believe we will be ending here for today. I am going to finish this month, because it's the spooky month or whatever. I'll probably play 1 to 2 times a week, I think, because I would really like to get this done. But let me go back to my home. Let me go back to my home. There I go. Okay, so did you guys... Are you liking it, or do you like it? Smiles? Yay! Okay, we have... Nick is liking it. That's good, that's good. Okay, it is interesting. I'm kind of excited to see, like, where it goes from here. Like, how much of, like, rewinding is it gonna be? Are we gonna have to like solve the murder? Like, are we gonna have to use our big brains to like really figure it out? Or is it kind of gonna be spoon-fed to us a little and we just have to like go through the motions? So I don't know. Oh, Peachy likes it. She said it's peachy peachy. And then Grand, I've only had the stream on in the background while drawing, but it's been fun to listen to. Well, thank you. Unfortunately, I'm gonna forget these voices by next week. So, maybe I'll like watch the stream right before the next stream and I can hear the voices. Ooh, but having to listen to yourself. Top 10 worst things in the world, listening to yourself. The Southern accent was spectacular. No, the Southern accent is not good. It's like my default accent. Like anytime I need to like voice act, I like immediately default to, well, I'll be sugar. I'm not even from the South. I've never lived in a Southern state in my life. Oh my god, no, next week everyone's gonna be like British or something. I thought you were from Florida. I have lived there before, yes. I have lived in 4 different states. But I wouldn't say that Florida is the South. But I didn't grow up in Florida. That's just where I lived after my parents moved. Yeah, 4 whole states. Wow. And then 1 other country, which is Tennis Land. Of course, that's where I live right now. And I went to tennis school in Tennis Land, as one does. Oh, I've been to Florida once and I almost got eaten by a gator. When I worked at a country club, so, okay. After I stopped playing at tennis school, and then I had to start playing just like on tennis teams in Tennis Land, I worked at a country club that like, you know, rich old people went to, like, because they retired in Tennis Land, and then they were like, I'm gonna play tennis at the country club. So I used to work at one of the country clubs in Tennis Land. And one time, oh, obviously they also had a golf course because, you know, tennis and golf. And there was a huge gator on the golf course. Like, it was huge. Like, if I laid down, it was definitely longer than me laying down. And it was thick. Boy, was thick. So they had to call the Tennis Land authorities to come out and like get him out of there. It was like a little scary. I mean, I was on the tennis courts, not over there, but it's not Florida, it's Tennis Land. Does Tennis Land have good house prices? No. No, because so many people keep retiring to Tennis Land and they're like taking up all of the housing. Like it used to be for like students, you know, that were training at tennis school. And then all of a sudden these old people started buying up property and now you can't afford anything. Can't afford a damn thing. A sandwich is like $7. A sandwich in Tennis Land. I don't recommend it. But where Era and I live is super close to the bamboo forest, which is like so we're on the cusp of Tennis Land, but we live in a house that's technically on like in the bamboo forest, like quote unquote, you know what I mean? Like, so we're paying bamboo forest prices, thank God. But like technically, property line wise, we are still in Tennis Land. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to dox myself. Please do not come and kill Era and I, please. Bamboo bargain, baby. Yeah, the people in the bamboo forest, like, they're tradesmen. You know, like, they're building these bamboo houses themselves. They love their craft. You know, it's not about making a quick buck. It's about community and friendship and love. You don't get that in tennis land. Isn't Era from an affluent family? She's not. Where did we get this from? Her father owns a mansion with a pool. Didn't we just discuss that pricing in the bamboo forest is low? He built that house himself. And then Era's uncle dug the pool. I feel like you're not listening to me. The bamboo forest is all about friendship. It's all about love, community. Like, we all do things for each other. But not me, because I'm a human being and I work in tennis land. Okay, well, that's enough doxing for one day. That's enough lore. You're fine. Hello, Toes. Hello, welcome to the very end of the stream. Here are some things that you missed. We kissed a dead body. We stuck our fingers in the open wound of a dead body. But those were two completely separate occurrences, but same person's dead body, but two different dead bodies. Does that make sense? No, I think it sounds fine. Booga! Booga, hello! Let me hit that. No, that's not it. Shout out at Booga. Yay! Okay, guys, if you're not following Booga, which you all are anyway, but I'm practicing my shouting out. Please go follow Booga. She was working on a YCH like commission, like making the base for it today. And Era and I are the examples. We're the examples. And we look so cute so far. I'm so excited. My YCH is your character here. In case you didn't know that. Oh, no need to clip anything. I gotta go. I gotta go. Okay, well, anyway, thank you so much for the clip. Thank you so much. Yeah, it looked so good. I was lurking while working earlier. It looked really, really good. I can't wait to see me Flip's hair. I'm gonna look amazing. Flip's other side of hair. I'm excited. All right, team. What's happening the rest of this week? Someone tell me. Someone go open up my schedule. My schedule, if you will. Calendar. Oh, right. That's it. I am visiting my mom this weekend. I'm very excited to see her. I love Mama Love. And I miss her. And I'm also seeing my brother, Baby Love. But I should be home, like, relatively early on Sunday. Oh. Booga, I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. Booga. Booga, I'm so sorry. Hello, Princess Booga. Hello. Did the wink work? I don't know if it did, sorry. Am I gonna play in the Uma Cup? Yes. Oh my goodness, thank you, Era. I'm so sorry. Okay, so what are you guys doing on Saturday? Nothing. Please go to Lyri's debut. It's her new look. She's wearing new clothes. She did her hair up all nice for you guys. She has a lore video and I think like new everything. But I'm so excited. It's The debut, she said, isn't going to be super long. I think it's going to be like mine was. So it's just going to be like, watch my lore video. Here's my slides. Now we'll talk a little bit. And then that's it. I think that's what she said. So I'm super, super excited. She looks so good. If you haven't seen her new look, please go into her server or on her Twitter. She posted it. Very excited. And that is 7 p.m. her time, which means 1 p.m. EST. Yes, the VA for the lore video is pretty and amazing and awesome. There's also another voice actress that is in some of her new things. So, I don't know who, but look out for that. I will tell you that this voice actress doesn't use a southern accent. So... early Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next month. For her lore video, it's just her. Wait. Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving? Well, you guys didn't have the pilgrims and the Native Americans and the corn and the table and the whatever else happened there. I wasn't there. In case you guys thought that I was there, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure that's a bad word now. But anyway, everyone go to Lyri's debut, just like you went to my debut. And on Sunday, I'm coming home pretty... Oh my god, speak of the devil, and the devil will appear. And the devil should be sleeping. Hi, Lyri. Hello, my love. Here she is. Here she is. Go to her debut, please. Everyone, please go to her debut. It would make me so happy. And then we would see each other there. You know that meme from Umbrella Academy? And it's like the little boy and Elliot Page, and they're like driving past each other. And they're like both looking at each other like, what the hell are you doing here? Do you guys know that meme? Anyway, that could be us at Lyri's debut. That could be us. Yeah. They pass in cars. They're in cars. Yeah. Wow. It was Era that knew the meme. Very rare. Oh, okay. Grant also knew. Thank God. Okay. Yeah, that'll be us if you go to Lyri's debut. Okay. And so then I've been trying to say the sentence for like 4 minutes now. It's pretty known. Look, sometimes people don't know memes and I get very upset. 9 out of 10 memes, Era does not know. And I have to like cry. Anyway. So on Sunday, I might stream Sunday evening because I'm probably gonna get home pretty early. I kind of want to play more of this. So if I do stream on Sunday, it will be like sometime between 5 and 7 p.m. EST, and we'll play more Chrono Jotter. Yes. And then next week, I don't know why we're talking about next week already. It's this week. But next week, because Era and I are now done, I have an open Monday. An open Monday. So I think I'm going to replace it with this new game that is like... Okay. Did you guys ever play Pokemon Conquest? It was on like the DS. And you like had your like Pokemon team and you like would take over other places and stuff. Okay, so it's a conquest type like that, but it has beautiful women. Yes. And you can be evil. You could be evil. I read that you could be evil. So what we're going to do is we're going to play it. Apparently, like, it's like a 20-hour or like 25-hour game or something. And I would want to like 100% it. So that would last us a few weeks, I think. Yes. Yes, henchman, conquering women. I don't remember what the game is called. But if you Google what I just said, I'm sure you would find it. Conquer type game, evil woman Yuri. Oh, yeah. It's also a Yuri. Duh. Silly me. It's a Yuri. And there are like multiple different beautiful women. So that's what we're gonna play on Mondays for the next few weeks. Everyone nod your head if you're paying attention to me. Okay, whew, thank God. No, there's no Yuri in Pokemon Conquest. There's Yuri in the Conquest type game that we're playing on Monday. Yes. You guys have any questions before I leave and start freaking out over having to raid? I love a Q&A. Like a random Q&A that's happening right now for some reason. Oh. He said, oh, I heard Pokemon, and then checked out. Bro, I'm looking at these people to raid. They're all so scary. I don't know any of these people. Tito? Like the vodka? Mojito? Streaming question. How do you come up with your schedule? I fly by the seat of my pants, basically. I kind of think to myself, what do I want to play? And then that's it. I just play that. Will I say hi to my mom? Yes. Wait, what, Leary? What did I say? What? Fly by the seat of my pants? Fly by the seat of my pants. It means like I'm just gonna like go with the flow. Like I'm just gonna do whatever comes to, like I'm flying and I'm sitting. Like, I don't know, it's a saying. I don't know. What do sayings mean, you know? You know what, while we're on the topic of sayings, so my parents had a lot of sayings that apparently other people didn't say. I learned very late in life that the saying is beat a dead horse. My entire life, my parents said beat a dead dog. So I just walked around saying that until one day someone was like, a dog? And I was like, what? First off, I don't think we should be beating any dead animals. But yeah, found out the hard way that it's not dog, I guess. My mom also always said 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, which is a saying that makes sense. You have 6 of one thing and half a dozen of the other thing. It means they're the same. It's the same. But no one ever knew what the hell I was talking about. So I'd be like, oh yeah, 6 of one. And they'd be like, what? And then I'd have to like explain it to them. Another one was anytime I referred to my mom or my grandma or my great grandma as she, I would get hit with the, she's the cat's mother. What does that mean? I still don't know what that means. All I know is that you're just not supposed to refer to older women in your life as she. I guess. Who's the cat? Am I the cat? And then what's so special about the cat's mother? I still have no idea what that meant. To this day. But you will never catch my mom. I will not refer to my mom as she in front of her. That's for sure. She hasn't hit me with the she's the cat's mother in a long time, but you have questions, I have questions. What other weird things did they say? Did I ever mix up pot calling the kettle black? No. Like, what would you say? The kettle calling the pot black? The black calling the kettle pot? I think I always had that one pretty straight. I can't think of what other weird things my parents would say, but there's definitely some more. I'm sure Era would know some if she thought about it, because I, would say them. Don't throw glass when you're living in a stone house. Now that's definitely not right. Yeah, pot calling the kettle black, that's a really popular one, isn't it? Like, I don't know, people use that a lot. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so that one literally just means you can't have your cake, like eat it, and then eat your cake too. Like it's just like you can't, like you already have done it. You cannot do it again. Like the cake is gone. You can't eat it again. The way that it is said is really weird though. But that is what it means. Oh. Okay, well, everyone watch, because Mello is gonna have her cake and eat it too. I wish you luck. I applaud you. I also really enjoy mixing up sayings. So like grinds my gears and gets my goat. I like to say that really grinds my goat. People don't like that one though. But I think it really, you know, like, ooh, this really pisses me off. This really grinds my goat. You know what I mean? This really grinds my Branya Honkai Impact third. You know what I mean? I go. Really grinds my Uma. That's what I'm gonna start saying from now on. The list of questions is getting longer. What do you mean? What do you mean bricked up doesn't mean stressed? Oh my god, can you imagine being like, bro, with tests coming up, I've been so bricked up. And people being like, oh, okay. Oh my god, that's so... bricked up, meaning, oh my god, and be like, I'm gonna hit the bathroom again. I've been really bricked up lately. Oh my god. Oh. These are a lot better than mine. My mom just says weird things, but I didn't get them wrong. Ooh, yeah, remember that time I was up all night grinding my goat because I was so pricked off? What does that mean? Straight up bricking it. Oh, well, bricked it is like in basketball when you like when you shoot the shot and you just hit the backboard and nothing else. That's Brick City. You bricked it. That is a thing. Though I don't know if that's what he was referencing. Yeah, things have meanings. Oh, an ad starts. Okay, well, this was fun. A dad got kicked out of my brother's gymnasium for yelling brick wall at a middle school child. You shouldn't do that. I think that you should not yell things at middle school children. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but well,
Meow, meow, meow.
I don't think you should do it. Okay, well, on that note, guys, I'm so scared to raid. Why is raiding so hard? We should really come up with like a raid message though. No, not not bricked up. It should just be like Ollie raid and nod your heads. And then if you can't nod your head, just say Ollie raid. Who up grinding their goat right now? Me when I'm playing Uma Musume at night. Okay, let's see some of these people. We can go watch Fortnite. There's some horror games. There's some Valorant. No, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to Valorant. Let's see if anyone's... And what if I just didn't raid? What then? What then, Spaghetti-chan? Oh. What the dog's doing? Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll just not raid tonight. But I had a great night with you guys. Perfect, Gran. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, be like, Olympia Love sent me. Raiding is stressful. I need more... Unfortunately, all of my friends stream before me. I need to make some friends that stream after me so I have people to raid into that I feel comfortable with. Instead of like raiding into a random person and being like, hi, it's me, Olympia Love, tennis VTuber. And they're like, oh, thank you, Olympia, for the raid. Yeah, I need some late night streamers. Or I need some like Asian streamers that stream in their morning. Like, hello, my Filipino mutual that streams at 10 a.m. What's up? I think that would be perfect, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, the Philippines is not a 12-hour difference. So, anyway. On that note, this has been fun. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Nope. I'll see everyone Nope. I'll see everyone Saturday at Leary's debut. Hello, Filipino boy, please. Please, hop on Twitch. No, I don't know any Filipino boys. Unless, are any of you guys Filipino boys? Let me know. Yeah, I'll see you Saturday at Leary's debut. Stay bricked. Brick up in the showers. Go get your goat. Grind the goat. Hashtag Olympia love yourself. Good night.